I shot us out there. We should be live now. Unless you want to wait a
Oh
minute.
boy, we are, I guess, live supposedly.
Wow, 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 wow.
Let me actually get up the thing so I can interact with the people.
All the
Fine. We
peeps.
have anyone in chat, dude. Our chat always dead. Dead chat hours.
I feel like when
Mhm.
we actually do the Bushiroad things, you know, the whole.
No, yeah. No, we have people for sure. I just like fucking memeing.
We should post weird live somewhere.
I did. I posted on Facebook and stuff. Unless you want to update it. Oh,
No,
I
I
didn't
didn't
post. We
post
have
it. Sorry.
anyone in chat, dude. Literally.
There we go. I almost had a feedback loop. That was terrible. Okay, so what are the topics, Kit? Well, I just said that we need to do at least one of these before we go to Toronto, you know? The time is almost upon us. Not this week, but next week?
Toronto's next week. Holy shit.
It
Oh
is
yeah,
next week.
Toronto's the first one, right?
Toronto is the
Mm,
first one. Now, the
I
question
still need
is,
to figure out what I'm playing for my team, which we've been talking. But
you're not even going to be in Toronto.
no, but I meant for California because California's the weekend after, right? So
Ah. That's not a real place to me, so I don't know.
yeah, California isn't real. No one. It's a joke of a.
California's fake.
True, it's fake. Dude, I'm not even sure if there's any teams I have to even be worried about in California. Now that I think about it,
Alex
there's
Hodges.
like no. Uh, as cool as Alex is, I'm pretty sure whatever team he's on is not going to be
I think
like a top 8 contender.
plenty of people are
Um,
traveling, I think.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think right now. I think like is Sima going to be on a team or is he going back to he's going
Judging?
to judging, right?
I have no idea. I did not ask. No, Tom and Hanson are
There's
going
like
to
a
be in
couple San
Cali.
Diego people that I know are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Tom? Yeah, Tom. As much as
I know their locals pop off. They
yeah,
have like 20 to 30 people on the weekends.
Yeah?
And then like
who else am I thinking
SoCal
of?
is even bigger.
Yeah, there's probably like actually like 2 or 3 teams like that I just don't remember because I don't interact with everyone all the time here.
Mm-hmm.
And even though now I'm back in California, but
Oh
there's
yeah,
no one I
that's
can
right.
think. There's like no one I can think of like right off the top of my head that I'm like, damn, I don't want to face their team until like the very end. Uh,
I mean, tournaments
It'll
are
come up.
easy. You either win or you
Mm-hmm.
lose. It's that simple.
true.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
basically a coin flip.
Yeah, you're right. Wasn't there an article someone posted from Wild Wild Weiss or something? Was it Wild Wild Weiss or it was someone? It was a different group of people about going first, going second.
Oh, yeah, that was actually really good, right? It was going first
Yeah,
has
I
a.
was like, I
Oh,
thought it was
percent
gonna be a
increase.
meme article or something. I opened it up. I was like, oh my god, there's stats that actually back this up. Okay, I very
And
much
it's
respect
like
that.
insane, isn't it? Isn't it like 12% difference in win rate?
Yeah,
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 so it's a 44
yeah.
to 56. I know they're not the only
Doesn't
ones who've been
matter.
doing this. I know some people do like they have like a lot less, like they only have a couple hundred of games of data, and that which also show that going first typically wins more. Wild Wild West isn't the only one that has like this results. So it's kind of insane.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
and like
simple. You just win. That easy.
exactly. Also, like, I didn't keep track of data or anything, but like from the years of playing personally, it's always felt like going first was like a significant enough advantage in this game. Where
I
like
think even
some
more
out
so.
some outcomes you could like, or at least some of the game outcomes I felt like because I went first, I was able to like basically win when
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have.
I don't want to give the secret away, but it made me feel better about my deck choice for Toronto specifically.
It's called, yeah, because like especially nowadays where you like turn one single field, turn two tri field, like you generally get like one to three more attacks than your opponent, depending on how they open.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even if your opponent tries fields, you're required to try field afterwards, so you're always one attack ahead on your opponent
Mm-hmm.
usually. Um, and the less decks that can abuse like being able to try field, you get like even a bigger advantage, I think, in the long run early on.
Because like most
Yeah.
decks can afford to tri field their first turn, like as a going second player.
Hmm.
So they typically only get two attacks at level, like one to two attacks at zero, whereas like the turn one player typically has one to three, like two to four.
Yeah, more like 2 to 48. Yeah.
Going second, playing 8 standby.
I
Wouldn't.
think I mean go people who want to go second. I think it just depends completely on their deck. Some decks actually get probably some benefit from going second. In
No,
general.
I'm just trying to think. Going second in an 8 standby deck, right? You do get pushed to one first, typically, but that's if your turn one player just like Unga Bunga tri-fields into you. So I don't know. I think there's a lot more nuance to the zero with the standby deck compared to the typical 1K ones.
Yeah. I mean, like with 1K1s too, like every. Well, I guess it doesn't matter with every attack or every deck for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But like having attacks is technically a resource you can like have in a game. So like just gaining an extra
Mm-hmm.
attack when normally no people can get it is pretty big in general. So
It's a free restand.
yeah, essentially.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I wonder if Wild Wild Wise had like the data for which decks they were looking at. Like he's saying standby, once more going
I
second. I wonder
think
if they actually have that data in there.
I don't know if they had like specific data, but they did like have a spreadsheet that showed like decks that were played like throughout the
Mm-hmm.
entire thing and when they went first, when they went second. But
Mm-hmm.
offhand I don't remember exactly.
I will measure them because I'm very
Oh,
curious now.
also, Soy Saucer out there supporting us
Oh shit!
like
Yeah,
always.
thank you, my man.
The real
I
king.
forgot. I forgot. I'm not streaming it, so I didn't get a notification, so I didn't even know what happened or anything.
Oh, really?
Huh? No. Well, I mean, I don't. If I'm streaming it, I get sound notifications, but because you're streaming it from
Oh,
your computer,
I don't get
I
sound
get no
notifications.
No. Oh yeah, because I have it built into the thing. So like, if someone
Ah,
sends in a donation or something, it'll pop up on stream too.
I'm watching
But
that live
because
chat.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at something else because I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right, we're getting off topic again. What were we on again?
The going first versus going second. I wanted to talk about Toronto because that's coming up soon. You know, the regionals are coming up soon. I
Yeah. What do you? Go ahead.
I just want everyone to know I'm not strong enough to actually top with Mob. I went in and started brewing and I wasted hours. Like I'm talking, I wasted like 8 hours of my life trying to brew up Mob because I wanted to be like, we're coming back to teams. I'm back. Watch this dog shit pile top. I was not strong enough. I went 0-9 in testing and then I unsleeved the deck and put it in the binder. So,
Very strong.
however, I do plan to play some spicy stuff in Toronto.
Do you want to say what you're on? I mean, you don't have to give out the exact list.
I'm on Ruby.
Ruby?
I figure
Oh,
I figure I
no one
spent
respects you, so no one will even care.
yeah, I figure I spent enough money on the set I need to top with it, so
True. Well, you didn't top at all in the. Oh
the
no, you didn't top on the online ones, right?
bro, I got DQ'd turn 1. Or yeah, I put down my clean cut and my opponent said that's not in your list. I said you're right. It's not.
Oh yeah, because you were swapping between decks and between games.
Yeah, I
between
sleeved like
regionals.
60 cards. I sleeved like 65 cards because I played in 3 bros and I was gonna swap the cards between the 2 Ruby decks. And when you do all 3 bros, it's like you start the first one at 9 p.m. and then you start the third one at 10 a.m. So it's like your sleep schedule's super fucked. Like there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was like one of those things where it's like 10 a.m. I'm rushing. I'm like, this is 50. It was 51 cards, by the way. So probably should have counted better. And Mob was Sag. I don't feel like Mob can do anything past like beat like a 6-man locals. I think if you're in anything harder than that, I don't think you can win. And even
Until
then,
the next set comes out.
bro,
I
they
believe
need
there's a
full
new
phase
anime,
cards.
and it has to. I swear to
Yep,
God.
there's so many seasons. Come on, Bushy. That's all we need.
Deck win.
They need something else completely, like from all levels.
I think there's a lot of good cards in Mob right now.
I thought so
It's just all-
too, and then
It's just all
Meraki.
non-cohesive. It's just not cohesive whatsoever.
Well, the weirdest one was when I handed my testing partner, I handed him Don Machi, and I said, this deck is dog shit. Surely I can beat a 1k1 deck that does nothing against my bounce back. And I bounced back Taruki 4 turns in a row. Triple Taruki 4 turns in a row. Triple Mob plus Wig did not win that game. And this was after like a 7-game loss streak. And I'm just like, if I can't beat that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like,
I mean, yeah, you get free reign to like farm the level 1 game and everything, and you still can't. Like,
yeah.
win.
I'm like, okay, because at first time, I'm like, okay, I drew every some of the games were like I was drawing every level 3 in the deck. I wasn't seeing the choice. I like put in all these top check 3s and shit, the promo, and I'm like, oh, surely I can get this deck to work. And I'm like bricking horribly, and I'm like, okay, maybe those were bad games. Maybe those were bad games. You know, I still got a little bit of faith.
No.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
and then your faith was crushed.
yeah. And then I'm like, here's something, no counterplay, just the most unga bunga Weiss, and I'm still losing.
What's it called? But like, because I think outside of the level 1 and 3 combos, the rest of it's pretty solid. Like you have a wide range of early plays.
I still
Your
believe in level
zeros
3.
are pretty sick.
I think the level 3 is not that bad. I do think that the
what, the
zeros have
restand
something.
to level 3?
I think that's not that bad. I think the
we-
big problem is how shit the mid game is. That like this restander needs to stick infinite damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think triple restander is a respectable finisher at the end of the day. Like, I think it's
Triple
not the
hexproof
best
finisher.
finisher. Yeah.
How big do they swing?
Good question.
Can they-
It depends. It depends.
Don't they restand without, even if they get reversed?
They restand even if they get reversed. I think he's talking about memory shoot counter. So like if you have triple
Oh.
event in memory, which is possible, they're
Mhm.
13k before any back rows or anything. If you wig, they're 15k in 2 lanes. So it really does depend on what you do. And then there's like the ability to play assist and stuff. Like a lot of the deck just doesn't do anything at 2. So like why would you put in a level assist? Is like kind of like the big problem. Because like
what's it called?
yeah,
Well, I guess this doesn't matter for English because Heaven Burns Red is not in English yet. But there's a 2-1 bodyguard that's like 12k and 15k or 15.5 post counter.
well, I wasn't looking at mob at
Really
all for
funny.
anything past Toronto. It was specifically into like the Toronto meta, which because I thought, and like the Worlds also crushed it because my thought was surely like Quince got hit. We have 7 Deadly Sins, which looks like another like just kill you from mid 2 deck, and I was hoping that like I was hoping that 7 Deadly Sins would be popular, and then like Quince would have like lower representation, and then we saw Worlds, and it was like Quince is still just, Quince is cheaper than 7 Deadly Sins by hundreds of dollars.
I mean,
Yes, sir.
Quince is like a tried and tested list.
It's $60. It's a $60 meta deck. Why would you not just buy 8 standby Quince? And I can tell you right now, it's the most disgusting thing to sit across from. There is not a stronger deck in the meta.
Yeah, it's like a combination of just like ceiling plus, the floor is really high. Even if you get fucked, it's very easy to recover without even trying. Like a lot of bad players will recover with the deck by accident,
And the finisher is so free.
Yeah, the finisher is very
I mean,
powerful,
I think the bigger thing with the recovery is just self-tap brainstorms. They're kind of broken.
Yeah, I think honestly, self-tap brainstorms were probably like the biggest mistake Weiss has ever done.
Like,
really, I think the tap 2s are sick when you have things like the Joker change or like Madoka.
sure. Tap 2s are sick when they have proper support, but self-tap brainstorms say if I have 2 stock, I can potentially just completely turn around this absolutely horrid situation that I am in.
I don't think it's just the brainstorm. I think there's so much stuff that goes in 8 standby Quince, and I think the most annoying thing is so like when teching for this meta, right? Because I did a lot of testing into the meta stuff finally. This meta sucks ass. This meta, there is Hololive piles. People say that Hololive isn't good. I feel like you almost can't beat both Hololive and Quince with anything that isn't those 2 decks. I think that those 2 decks fight in just like opposite ways enough that like there's no deck that can consistently out other than anti-spirals. Anti-spirals is I guess tier 0. Like it was just so obnoxious trying to like build something like, even close to spicy into this meta.
Have you seen anti-spirals miss brainstorm 3 turns in a row? That was sick.
I have not.
Jesus Christ.
That was my very first regionals.
Hololive is
It's
top
so
tier.
bad. Hololive is very good.
Yeah.
I think if you
But
go to a
I don't think
regional,
it's okay. Well, I mean, top tier, sure. It's probably gonna be top five decks for 100%.
is
There
it
aren't that
not like
many amazing decks right
third?
now.
It should be like third in the meta right now.
Uh, I'm thinking more in singles right now, but with Alice coming out, I don't
Alice is not
remember
out for
Smash.
Toronto.
It's not out for Toronto
It's
or
not out for Atlanta.
Houston or Cali.
So it's not out for a while. So we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't assess those.
Mm-hmm.
We assess like the other
What's
stuff.
coming out? Yeah. The Kaguya just came out.
I don't
Uh,
believe in
I
Kaguya.
don't think so either.
I bought Kaguya too. I'm gonna be playing with it, but I
I
don't
haven't bought
trust it.
Kaguya 2 yet. I want to try it. I want to try it out. I don't know how good it would
You're taking
it
anti
would be.
Well,
Johnny.
I wanna build memes with it. I wanna build like the 16 event deck. I wanna like build like the really shitty meme stuff with it.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah.
What happens when you run into the rogue or the one of Don Machi player in the entire?
It doesn't matter. Have you ever actually played anti spirals, Dan? There are games.
Played it?
There are
I have.
games where you just like cancel
Wait, I
five
just
times
read
the
this in
first deck and
chat.
win.
You guys are screwing my team over. Don't convince Johnny to play anti-spirals. What the
Oh, he's
fuck?
on your team.
Yes.
You convinced him, not me.
Yeah.
No,
You're the one who said anti-spiral tier zero.
Bro, no, it was
I
me.
thought I
Oh, wait,
was
that was
gonna try
Kit.
to come with.
Dude.
I thought I was gonna come. Okay, first of all, I thought I was gonna try to come with some spicy shit. Only to find out that other people are already on spicy shit that I thought was already spicy into the meta. I was like, oh, that's upsetting. I was like, but I also haven't been like thoroughly like in Discord and discussions and stuff recently anyway. But I was like, okay, I guess everyone else is kind of on the same line of thought I was, which was kind of sad. But now I have to like deal with Johnny being on anti spirals. Fuck you guys.
You know, because like, okay, so we don't have to worry about Alice. It's what Seven Deadly Sins, Quince, Hololive,
Well,
Attack
okay.
on
Here's
Titan.
here's the honest thing about Seven Deadly Sins. I don't
Mhm.
care about that deck because it's just gonna like if it kills you from two, it kills you from two. There's not really much you can do. There's
Mhm.
like Hololive will set up boards at two that are
Yep.
unbelievably oppressive, and Quince will just beat you at level one. Quince, if you're like level one isn't teched out against it, will just shit out this one, and they'll say I have infinite hand because you can't kill this one. And
Yeah.
so you have to play both 1/1s and have the ability to fight for board while cracking like unbelievable walls at level 2 against Hololive.
I think one of the big things too is like Hololive. I personally, this maybe it's because I haven't been like actively testing against like a lot of shit right now. I still think Hololive has like the best mid game out of every deck you could play right now. Like,
No,
and, like
because Quince
you sure?
Quince will
'Cause, like the
summon like a
mid game,
13k and just kill it.
yeah. I mean, no, you can still battle with that. I think like the fact that Hololive's mid game is so flexible in the sense that there's different options you can go that are
Mhm.
all very very strong and very very hard to deal with.
Oh yeah, there's like four
It,
decks. I think though that all of the decks kind of do the same thing at two. They all shit out some like really oppressive board and tell you if you can't out it, whether it be Rushia, whether it be Kanata, um, as long like it, or like even Sora, like right. It's like those are three
yeah,
decks that all just shit out like a massive board at two and tell you deal with this or die.
yeah, pretty much.
And so the problem is like being able to like tech against all of that, and like the whole life boards are pretty oppressive. Let's be honest. And Quince is like the only deck properly outfitted to deal with them.
I love 8-part Hololive. It's the best. I mean, realistically, both you're taking out to deal with a bunch of early plays or like level threes at two anyway.
That's
It's just you need like a you need like another like a 1/1 or something at level one to deal with.
yeah. The
Um,
only thing that can do that is like Cart Titan and AOT. It's like
mhm.
most sets don't have things to like crack 2 to 3 lanes of early plays without putting in multiple Adachi's. That's actually what I was looking at. Mob has the best Adachi in the game. Pretty much
Wait, what's their dot? What's their dachi?
it refunds stock. It has a top check, and if it sees a level 1 or lower, it refunds the stock. So you can
There's a
play
couple
like
that
3 to
refund
4.
stuff now. Yeah, and there's some
Uh,
memory taking ones too.
well, some of the
Um,
other ones like Dow that refund stock, you
mhm.
have to have 4 or more, so that's like you can't actually do anything with it.
When does
I
Beijing
still
come out?
I still like really quick though. When it comes to the dachis, I still like Wins has like one of the better dachis too. I think
One
memory.
sends a memory,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But you still need
Like the
like
fact
three.
that they yeah,
Quince's memory Adachi is also a grappling hook.
yeah, which is
It's
like really
sick.
it's probably one of the
Can you
most
play 3 to 4
versatile
without
dachis.
feeling bad? Because that's the problem. A lot
I
of
was
these
playing.
boards.
I was playing 2
It's not enough.
when singles, and I wish I had 3 in the deck at
Yeah.
like
No,
minimum.
you can definitely run 3 to 4 since it's something you want to see at your top end anyway for the grappling hook. But
Well, that's the problem is when against these decks, it's like they literally feel triple EP some games, and if you don't answer all three, you lose. Like it's
I
or
don't
you're
know
like if you
about
feel
that.
behind. You feel very like you feel like they can steal a game off of you not being able to answer triple like EP.
Like triple EP is what Hololive with the Soras,
That is, but that's
or
the only
like
thing that matters
Kanakas
is
is typically
Hololive is
double.
the deck. Hololive is the deck that you're gonna see this, and Hololive is gonna be probably 20% of teams. Or sorry, not 20% of teams,
Stand by bar,
80%
not
of
8 bar.
teams. 80% of teams are gonna have some Hololive pile that's gonna try triple early play on you.
I think most teams will have Hololive and Quince on it.
Yeah, I do too, because it's
Yeah.
well, Hololive might be price restricted at this point because a playset of Marines is 120.
What really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
thirty
30 a
dollars a
piece.
piece.
Oh my
But
god! What the fuck?
I mean, the what's it
All
called?
life sick like
The
that.
Sora deck is what got banned in Japan. That
Yeah.
deck is
Yeah,
also
but we have
incredibly
AOT.
aggressive.
That
We have
Sora.
AOT as a deterrent, which is fine.
AOT is a lot less popular, so it's not bad. And then you also have to hit the 33% into the AOT deck. You
That's
know,
true.
it's I don't think it's a major issue in the trios format.
Listen, I'm just looking. Wait, When can I start playing 8 Standby Dal again?
Um,
Never.
10 years.
Damn it! It's
I mean,
right.
Kurumi being at 2 is like crippling. Same thing with
Yeah.
Nemo being at 2 once that hit comes to English.
I
Holy.
mean, I still want to. I think on teams I would totally play 8 Standby Dal when the new set comes out, but I don't know. I don't know when does that shit come.
The new set comes out before Atlanta, I think. I just don't pay attention
Now
because I
is
don't think
out
Dallas.
March 24th. So it'll
Oh.
be legal 2 weeks after, making it like April 7th.
I
Which I
don't
think
think
is
it's
Atlanta.
like. Yeah, I don't think it's a top tier deck, but I think it's really good at cracking other people's boards by just
If you
existing.
want to crack people's board, just play 8-win.
Why would I play win when I could play 8 Standby Dal and then my opponent will be sad because they lost to a deck that sucks?
Because 8-win's not that good either. And then you're just like
Oh man, no. If I would
you
play, I would definitely play 8 choice.
8
In
Wind
Dal.
is really
Isn't
funny
choice?
when it high rolls.
Doesn't
That
it
is
have
the
the
most
burn
egregious
1 for
looking
1?
deck.
Or
Hmm?
or am I thinking of the win combo?
the win is the one where if you have full field, you trigger win, it sends it to their top deck instead of their hand.
Oh,
So
sick.
like
That's pretty
you get
funny.
rid of their threes and then you send them the clock. It's really funny.
I think I would still play 8 choice because I would just AFK and not think and be like, God damn it, I have 12 cards in hand again. How do what do I discard?
I really like 8-win because it's a pretty unique deck in what it does. It's the first one of the few decks trying to push other triggers. that's not choice with yellow.
Yeah.
I kind of wish what's his name? Escanor was on the shot.
That sounds
That would have been
awful.
sick.
Escanor already looks like an awful card to sit across from.
He
If
does. He
I
is.
if I didn't hate the show, I would buy Seven Deadly Sins too.
If the Escanors and the Guild Thunders weren't 15 apiece, I would as
I
well.
already own those. Well, sorry, I own the set 1 stuff, but not set 2.
Yeah.
People still play piles and teams. I don't think that's true. Like all the meta decks are too cheap.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I haven't sat across from a pile in trios in a long time.
Even back when we played, it wasn't like that common. It would like occasionally.
Yeah. I think the last time we would see random piles, like
Will be when I'm
obviously-
playing in Atlanta.
I mean, obviously, like maybe round 1 or 2, you might run into some piles more likely. But usually by round 3, if your team is 2-0, you like don't ever run into piles after that because every team, especially at this point, it's so easy to buy a meta deck, and most players are like good enough now that they're just playing meta decks. And then I think even when I think there was more piles running around because the meta was a little bit more open, like back when Dean played Disgaea at Houston and we got second place with that on our team. Even then, I felt like I didn't run into many piles past like round 2.
So we actually had a really rough bracket. That was a really funny regional.
Dude, yeah, we had so many like fucking good teams like to play against.
And I
that
still ended
regional.
even.
Dude, yeah.
Broken deck confirmed. Can't wait for the support this year.
Yeah.
And that
Why
because
could
I so
Go ahead.
I'm struggling with this on the inside because they are announcing those 10th or 15th anniversary premium boosters this year. Did you see about those?
I
Yes.
have not.
Three
What is that?
series that haven't had support in at least 10 years are getting a premium booster this year in
Mm-hmm.
the fall. And if they
Yep.
come out with Disgaea, do I have to max it? Do I need this premium booster Disgaea Japanese cards when I don't actually care about Japanese?
Obviously, so you can play it once and then never play it again.
I'm just hoping they give Phantom support.
Phantom is a dead IP, let's be honest.
Yes, but I love
Disgaea is
Phantom.
not. Disgaea 7 I literally pre-ordered like a week ago.
Nah, you know what
Yeah,
they
but
need? They need to print more DC cards, guys. We love DC here.
I don't even know what Da Capo is fully. I'm going to be honest. It's some porn game, that's all I know.
I don't know what it is either. I just know there's a lot of visual novels for it and that I'll never play.
uh,
Top tables. Okay, let's see. Bofuri is like an okay deck. Madoka is actually a newer deck as well. And I actually like playing Madoka in casuals. I don't think it's that bad. And Bang Dream. I don't think those are piles.
Eva will be one. Remember
I
this
mean they're not
comment.
top tier decks, but they probably fall in like tier 2 to tier 3.
Yeah, Madoka, sometimes you can have games with Madoka where you feel like that is a
Yeah.
good set.
When I think of piles, I
Ava.
think of the time where Dean sat down and he played against two soul crossdresser.
When I think
And I
about
lost.
piles,
That was a good
when I
deck.
think about piles, I think about anti spirals.
I think of the Batman Ninja guy.
I mean
who
June.
who was no in
That
New
was sick.
it was in New York when I topped in singles. My first round was
Hmm.
against some like dad
Hmm.
who was like, I think he was like probably in his like 50s, and he only came to Weiss for his son, and
That's
he didn't
cute.
play the game, and he just had like random Batman cards. Those are piles, but you don't
Actually,
really see
just reminded
those.
me. I think it was Chicago last year. I played against Batman Ninja, and the guy was decked out, dressed up as Batman,
That's
and then
sick.
he was running around with like I forgot what it's called. It was some Halo blade thing, the two-prong fork-looking knife.
Oh,
I
dude,
forgot what
what
it's
is the
called.
name of that weapon?
Energy
Yeah, I know
blade?
what you're talking about. Energy blade. Yeah,
Was it
I'm
energy?
pretty sure it's
Yeah,
called energy
that
blade,
was really
right?
fun. It was energy blade. It was really funny. Energy sword.
Yeah. I mean, wait, didn't you dress up as Tsuchinoko at one place? Am I
Oh
wrong?
yeah, I got the $80 Chinese cosplay. It's very good.
Very
They
powerful.
always ruin something in very unique ways.
Actually,
This one was really funny though.
alright.
I got some good stuff for this year. I got some good new outfits, new jackets.
Speaking of like cosplays at events, the people who follow our Shadowverse Evolve channel, someone needs to finish that little scavenger hunt we have in there, so we can make Ellis show up.
Ooh, that would
XD.
be good.
What's it
Yeah,
called?
Ellis promised he'd cosplay something if someone made this specific comment. So if someone finds that, I'll be really hyped. I'm gonna make sure Ellis cosplays.
I'm. Don't worry, I might make him for a skit. I want to do some skits on that channel. I don't know if anyone here knows about our Shadowverse Evolve channel. We plan on like going pretty hard into that, like after this trio season, and a little bit before
I
too.
mean,
I think it's going to be kind of hard, like spacing the content, because we're so far out.
Yeah, yeah.
I, I,
I've been getting some stuff from the community of like what they wanted to see before the release. But yeah, I'll talk to you later about that,
Yeah,
you guys.
Recanted Forger. Okay, I don't think it's Seven Deadly Sins Quince because Seven Deadly Sins had really low pre-order numbers and like not a lot of boxes got shipped out compared to other sets. And on top of that, like the old stuff got like bought out, right?
mhm.
So I think that like Seven Deadly Sins is legitimately like a gate kept set. I think
I
that
also
is going
think
to
there's
be
a
a.
lot more. I think there's a lot of variety in trios. You're gonna see Ruby. You're gonna see
I think that
AOT.
the third set
You're
is
gonna
open, but
see.
I think
Yeah,
that like 80% of teams will be Quince All Alive. Like non ironically, it's gonna be 80% of teams.
what's come?
Maybe 75.
Maybe.
Like it's gonna be a really high number. Those sets are too strong and too cheap.
I don't think they even like last year they weren't that. It wasn't like that high of a number.
Was stuff that is I was
And
stuff wasn't as polarizing then, right? It was Mushoku plus, and Mushoku
the
had a
Mushoku
really
Quince Hololive. They were all out then.
Well,
Quince
okay,
one, right? It wasn't Quince two.
I'm pretty sure it was Quince 2, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
When did Quince 2 drop? Does anyone remember in chat? I could be wrong. I am a
Because
gold
there's no
priest.
way Quince two bodies Mushoku. There's no way you'd have such a high Mushoku
Oh,
rank.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, Quince one is like way different than Quince two. Like whenever I sat across from Quince one or played
Yeah.
Quince one, I thought it was a
But yeah,
fair
no,
deck.
Quince 1 is a fair deck. Yeah.
Quince two was like, wow, I can't believe they printed these cards. Wow, cool profiles.
100%. Yes, yes, yes.
all right, Dean. I gotta ask you this question really quick. Because if I don't ask you, I'll forget. How many people showed up to JP locals
JP
this past
locals?
weekend?
Oh, I didn't
This
Yeah.
go.
past week. Okay.
I think that the tournament report might be the full report.
Thanks, Riaz.
Okay. So 3. Got it.
Yeah, I a lot of the people here in Indiana are like moving away from JP. As like
Yeah.
outside of like casuals, it's like, you go buy like a Melty Blood deck or something, but you don't actually support the format anymore.
Yeah, Bang
Yeah.
Dream back then. Bang Dream was pretty sick,
So thinking that
and then
Ruby's a
Ruby is still
pile,
good.
Ruby's the
Ruby is
strongest.
not a Ruby. Yeah, no, we're not saying Ruby's a pile. That's not what they're saying.
Show you my collection.
Okay, your collection's a pile, but Ruby's not. Shokus always slime. I can't wait for Slime 3 to come out in English. It's gonna be so sick.
What does Slime 3 even do? This is my fault. My fault. I've just not been reading cards, and since I wasn't super active
Right.
in locals. I haven't been keeping up with the meta, but
Yeah,
I have Azure Lane 8 gold bar deck now to mess around with. A deck
yeah.
is
8
smooth
bar is
brain,
pretty
just
sick.
like me.
It's similar. It's 8 pants slime. So
Hmm.
it's the old cigarettes combo that goes with the early play.
Yeah,
And then you play a level 2 combo. It's 2/1 10/5 on climax place, search one, stock one from waiting room. Uh then you have this sick ass back row, right? It's a 0/0 brainstorm, and then a 2/1 that says if you have the brainstorm, global 1K, global hexproof to everything but itself. And the 0 says if you have the 2/1s, a global 1K. So then your 2/1 said 12/5 hexproof. And then you go into your level 3, you have 2 off finishers. One's a on attack, pay 1, ditch 1, reveal top, burn for the level +1. It was either reveal or mill. And then the other one's the old Millum, where it's on play burn, on reverse, pay 3 clock kick. And then they're like
Pay
you have a
3
slew.
clock kick?
Yep.
yeah,
And then like you have a slew of like off finisher options. Like there's the Millum, the Dragon Buster event. There's the old Benimaru. There's this new Shion as well.
Oh, okay, slime.
So you there's a bunch of different early plays you could do. Not early plays finishes you could do. You could probably go for some weird 6 pants deck with a random top end finisher. I don't know how good that would be. I haven't looked into it, but that's just it's
yeah.
just
It
the eight
sounds
pants
it
that's
sounds
been
pretty
going on.
interesting actually. I should probably read up on the list.
Yep.
Because since I'm not super active in like every week playing right now, well, I
Hmm.
think that's gonna change. I should be going to locals every week this starting this week, but um I haven't been keeping track. I just wait till Japan figures like multiple lists out, and then like a couple weeks after the set releases, I'll go through and look at all the winning lists from shops in Japan and be like, okay, I guess this is what everyone's on right now.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
waiting for my slime cards to come in, but things just keep on coming to Tenso, getting shipped out, so it's been delayed. Like it's been in my Tenso for like 2 weeks now. I'm just waiting to get it. Yep, slime time, baby.
I won't have
I
to deal
have
with slime.
I have a bunch of Alice stuff too, but I just haven't gone to building it because it's probably gonna get in a month. Oh, man.
all right. So here
I get to move over to casuals only before slime comes out.
Casual when
Yeah,
slime comes out. Oh yeah, and then slime is still the only set like relevant set that's like a level 0 stock swap.
Not mob.
Kind of sick. I said relevant set, Dean.
You said Mob is dead, man, and now you're like bringing
Whoa.
up.
Just
Come on,
wait.
Dean.
The meta needs to change a little bit more. Like maybe
Yeah,
go back 5 years.
that's what we need. A meta shift.
You're gonna bring back goat. You're gonna bring goat format to Weiss. So you
Goat
can play
format,
Mob.
but for some reason I'm allowed to play an Edison deck.
All right. Was there any other news or something going on for Weiss recently?
Weiss has
All
so
the
little
English
news.
originals are sick.
They are sick. Now, as long as they're good, that's the big problem. I feel like the English originals have been good, but like in a weird way. Like not like a high shelf life way, like a this is an okay meta call, but for a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't had one
Ruby's
that's
been
been
around
long.
for a while, so it's been there since it came out. Actually,
Ruby has a unique niche that's like okay.
Mhm.
I think it's a lot. I think
like
it's less good than other options.
yeah,
It
but
does have
it
something
still
unique
shows up.
though.
It shows up like every single trios. Same
That is
thing with
true.
So
Ruby's been
that's
good.
good.
Seven Deadly Sins has been kind of gross, but like just
So
because it's
seven
like
deadly
the
sins is a problem. Um, like I hate hyper finishes. I don't think hyper finishes are healthy for the game.
well, we're getting them
Uh,
soon, so we
I
already
think
kind of have them.
JP is also like kind of on the downward trend of hyper finishes as well for the
But you
more
have
recent
Ainz,
set.
which is literally worse. Like I don't understand. I think the play
Uh,
experience in general is like been down in the shitter. Dying from 2-4 and having like a card as oppressive as Ainz to sit across from are like similar.
I mean, Ainz just kind of takes what's it called? The fuck. What was the name of that boat combo that kills stuff?
Hoppo.
Hoppo, yeah, it's just like Hoppo at a higher level. So you just play into like when you're getting to the Ainz turn, you know when he's about to pop your field. You just got to play around it.
Yeah, but I think it's like you have to
Because like
literally
if
shove
they
up your
happen to
back
like,
row,
hmm
and then
yeah,
you have to hope that you don't eat too much damage after crashing your back row, and then after your opponent has basically +5, um, they uh they get all
wait,
of these
how
events in memory, and you have to
they
hope
don't
that they
up to
don't burn
five.
1 5 times.
They're plusing like one
They're
on the
plusing
Ainz.
2. No. They're plusing 2 because you're shoving up 2 back row.
Like you're okay with losing one hand to clear their other one, I think, and then and then sometimes they just don't like if they decide not to send events to memory, and then you they have to get in the bar their hand to do that. That you're okay with that as well. I don't think playing into that deck is as bad as people think. It's annoying, just like playing into Hoppo's like fucking annoying. But you, AOT does get around it because Armin gives hexproof and it does target. Um, ReZero also has hexproof. I think
No,
that's
no, the
only
back
on
row
the
does.
back row,
The back row itself
right?
doesn't have hexproof. The cards in front of it do, and that's like a
But
really shit
Armin
card.
gives himself in the front
Yeah,
hexproof.
Armin has natural
Why
hexproof
does
as well.
Armin have natural expert? I never understood that. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
It
just
was
play
a really
AOT.
bad balancing decision that's like thankfully gives it a place in the meta because the cards keep getting worse. So
Yeah, AOT's fine. But yeah, no, playing Ainz I never felt too powerful, TBH. It feels like if you just eat so much shit early on because you're playing a time machine, you're and then you're also accelerating for yourself. And then if you're not able to get enough turns at two, you kind of cry.
damn, you need to learn the JP shuffle. Every game I
It's
watched in JP was
Yeah,
gross as
the
hell.
JP
it has the
shuffle,
same
baby.
issue that what's it called? Kana Tamarian has, where like if you don't get your two, you're just kind of crying in the
Kanata
club.
Marin though has like a 7 card requirement in hand. Like you need like
Oh no,
multiple.
you're never going for triple. You're going for double. You never do like you only high roll the triple,
Yeah,
right?
but like it's you're always hoping for triple, but if it doesn't
Yeah.
happen, you're not like super like beat up about it. That's still like a
Mhm.
5 card combo. So you have like
Yeah.
quite a bit of like, and like okay, let me be honest. There is no way Overlord's level 0 game is as shit as Hollow Lives. Hollow Lives level 0 game is like 8 Rickies that hurt you, and then to a level 1 of literally no climax combo, 1-0 clock encores to clock yourself even more. Like Hololive's 0 and 1 is abysmally bad.
What's it called? Hololive Zero, you have a bunch of plussing Rickies.
Which are not good.
Overlords isn't that much better. So Overlord is like you have a drop search that Rickies to check too, and then you add a level 1 or like a costless. You have your 0-0 bombs that for your ride package. You have Chieri,
That already
you
sounds
have
better.
you have brainstorms. No, Hololive, they have access to all of that. They're just opting to play the Rickies because they want to
Yeah.
accelerate the game. Because that's better for their game plan. It's not that they have the bad 0.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the actual build that like people have settled on. I think that 0 is like when you're like, oh, the Conata deck falls behind because it clocks itself like 7 times and then goes, how am I behind in damage? I 8 damage 1
But
turn.
that's literally not what happens. If people are complaining about falling behind on damage at level 1 early on like that, then like that they're paying attention to the wrong thing. You want to hit 2
No,
first.
but I'm saying you hit 2
That's
and
the
then you have
goal.
1 turn of not canceling and then like you're infinitely far behind.
Yeah, that's the issue with Kanatamari. And you
Yeah,
play
that's what
for
I'm
your
saying.
progression,
We're
and if
agreeing.
you die, you just die.
Hollow does not have Chieri, it has a Fuka.
Uh,
Please stop mixing the two.
I don't know a single person who calls it a Fuka, so I'm good, man.
Fuka 0 is long. So my appeal right now for the community as a whole is we call that BMO.
BMO. What?
I'm good, man.
Fuka 0 is just too long. BMO? BMO's pretty easy.
True.
Like,
All right.
I think this would be a lot more relevant if there are actually cards getting printed that, like the OG Chieri, but like words evolve over time.
Don't
So
give me that words evolve over time bullshit. Fuck you.
yeah, I mean it's commonly accepted what a Chieri is nowadays. So
Yeah, a
like
Sherry, like in my head, is just a card that mills forward and gets
just
one of the
on that
cards from
choose for
losing.
top check
Yeah.
player that got level 1 higher. Yes, I agree. We're actually pretty overdue for a new trigger, so I'm anticipating it soon.
In the
Uh,
new Disgaea set.
they they've been like introducing a lot of the triggers with like Bing Dream, like Standby. I think no, Standby was not with Bing Dream. Choice was with Bing Dream.
Standby was the Bang Dream.
Wait, Bang Standby was also with Bang Dream. I think they were the first
Okay,
set,
so
right?
it was kind of Bing Dream.
No, it was
There
Bang
was
Dream.
actually a promo before Bing Dream.
No, Bang Dream was the promo.
Was Bing Dream the promo?
It was
Bang
a
Dream was the
promo,
promo.
yeah, because I went and bought the promo. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Bang Dream gets all the love apparently.
Because it's a Bushy IP.
Mm-hmm.
I
Let me
did you some
see.
reason to buy it.
When can we get heal triggers and why?
It'll be in
Uh,
it'll be in blue. Defensive
I think
trigger.
like what's it called? Yeah, but the new trigger should be a green trigger because we got pants, we got standby, then we got choice.
True, yeah.
Was probably first choice in JP was the Bang Dream what's it called?
Yeah, that was like set 3 or something, right?
Bang Dream Volume 2, the not Bandori, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a really good finisher.
Yeah, that's
That's in the next Meme
quote
Monday.
unquote
Stay
really
tuned.
good finisher.
For those who actually watch the Meme Mondays, which the viewer attendance tells me not many people.
XD. But what would you want to see out of a green trigger?
More stock.
Hey, we need more stock on trigger blind stock too. Let's go.
I think that
Forgot.
like new triggers and like trying to redesign the game often leads to like poor game decisions, aka standby.
So
but
like
go ahead.
I dislike standby, but I do think standby was kind of necessary for the game. Like the decks were becoming incredibly homogenous,
And
where
there's
standby actually
Well,
introduced like
the problem is I don't even think
a new
standby was the
gameplay.
issue. I think the problem was Bushiroad, like for some reason, decided that standby needs to also be plussing combo nowadays.
plussing combo. There's so many things about standby when you sit across from it. I mean, they literally standby decks have like a permanent 1k1 on the board. Let's be honest. They push so much damage now. Like
Mhm.
continuously supporting 8 standby decks has done that.
Yeah.
I do think we should get a new trigger. Like I think 3 years is a good number though. Gives enough time for the old trigger to come in. And then I also don't want older triggers to die when the new trigger, like how Choice came out. We barely see any shots or wins.
What if
Chances
Okay,
are
well every time I
I
see an
don't
8 win
remember
deck,
last
it's
what we've
unplayable.
seen.
Shot
Exactly.
is actually okay.
They need to
Every time I
balance
sleeve
these
a win
combos
deck, it's
better.
unplayable.
Well, yeah, they need to do better balancing.
So what if instead of introducing new triggers, they took old triggers that aren't used and they're like, okay, from we're changing the rules on this, even though like there's an errata, like all for now on this trigger does this instead, right? Like, do you think that would
Your
like
shot is
change
burn twos
up a
now
lot of shit?
instead.
Yeah, or something ridiculous like when, kind of like that one deck you were talking about where if you hit wind trigger, it top decks the card now, but for so now wind trigger actually top decks cards instead of sending it back to your opponent's hand, you know, or shit like that. Like,
That sounds
like
insane.
it, yeah, I know actually.
There's
Just
too
break
much
the idea.
there's too much issue with backwards compatibility with that where they could just like randomly break something, and that's definitely something they want to avoid, so it makes
Yeah,
no
I
sense
want
to
them to break.
reuse old triggers
They've already
I,
been
compared
breaking
to.
the game, let's be honest.
yeah, I want them to break old shit because
Yeah, but
like
they like
nowadays,
breaking shit intentionally,
yeah. So the
not
percent got it.
unintentionally, which was
Yeah,
like we could see that with Superstar. They completely missed that interaction somehow.
yeah. Didn't
Um,
they change bag recently?
they did not.
I thought they was it not bag or maybe it was something else. But I thought maybe it was in stock soul again. But I thought they changed bag in one of the sets to be like, oh, if you trigger bag, you get a stock charge from waiting room instead.
They what's it called? Something had a bag support, and it was I think it was Dragon Maid that had the bag support. I don't remember what it did though.
Hmm.
I just remember Dragon Maid as being one of the few sets that got a bag in recent time.
Did Dragon have back support?
It should have.
I don't
Let's take
remember.
a look.
I
TCG
haven't actually
Player.
read my cards. I have like almost a full play set, but I
I
just
think it was an Iruru.
remember the deck.
Retrigger the full damage. Jesus
That'd be
Christ.
insane. Can you imagine like Hello
I
Happy World
play
finisher?
yeah, I play 8 shots.
No,
No
no, no, no. There's the
problem.
Hello Happy World deck where you can stack a yellow card on top.
Oh,
So you stack
yeah.
shots.
Dude, free restands if you cancel. Oh my
Yeah.
god. And it'd be on a Musashi or something.
Was it HBR?
Yeah, it was Heaven's Burden. It has like some support that's like, or it's like a climax combo. If you trigger a bag, you like
Flying
line
Stock
stock
3 instead.
3. Yeah.
That's really funny. That fixes zero.
Deck speed.
Yeah. Deck
It's
speed,
more. It's
you're
more
right.
deck speed than a gold bar.
I don't know, maybe like you trigger something and it's a top check floor. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Or like top check 2, add one to hand, put the other one back on top or some shit would be pretty sick too. So you could manipulate your trigger. But yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Anything else we're talking about for Weiss news or whatever memes?
News.
Weiss is like, slow release cycle. They give you all the news for like 8 months, and they say we're gonna print.
A
Okay,
Man,
page.
here's
Go ahead.
something. Here's like a point of like actual contention within like the community. And Kit, you've expressed interest before in like opening a store or something, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
And
used to
like
have a store, and then I'm
you used to have a
consider
store.
opening a store for another thing. Yeah.
How do you feel businesses are gonna handle the current Weiss release schedule? If you guys haven't seen Weiss going forward, March,
Unless you're
April, May, June, and July, 2 sets a month.
unless your store is literally known for being a Weiss store and you have huge communities, so like SoCal stores can probably get away with it. There's probably like a couple other stores like on the East Coast maybe at most that could get away with it. Probably not even honestly, because I can't even think on the East Coast of any like huge major stores that are just like the reason they exist is because Weiss keeps them alive type of deals. Um, I don't think many stores are going to be able to like support the investment required because not only are they dealing with like Weiss like being pushed more now, or like more sets coming out, they would technically have to invest in if their player base wants it. It's other card games too are just getting bigger and like popping off like crazy. Like One Piece is another game that people, if you're a store owner and you're like looking to like keep your store alive, you're probably investing in One Piece right now because
Oh
that
yeah.
game's popping off. Cards are getting like expensive. There's events going on around the nation that are like getting like sold out events where like like I was just talking to my friend Lance. He was telling me like how he's probably not going to compete in One Piece. Um, one of the reasons being that like not enough of his own friends are like into the game just yet. But also the other thing is that if you apply for these regional events, um, within the first minute or so, all the spots are taken because they're capped
Yeah,
right
I
now.
really don't like the way Bandai is handling the tournament structure for One Piece, which is also why I'm probably not going to continue playing the game. On top of other issues with the game, but
But yeah,
uh,
but I mean,
that's
just
not the point. It's just like
yeah,
bushy tournaments. There's no incentive to compete right now, especially this issue with 2 sets a month isn't really with bushy delays. It's more so like can the store move enough product in the
Yeah.
move
two
enough
months to
product.
So
justify
Like
getting every set.
so for instance, like my store is like told me that they need to buy 10 boxes a set if they want to carry the set, and they're not like, well, when we barely have locals, so it's like super bad right now. But like even if you have locals, like imagine that like in order to carry that, it's like a 500 something dollar investment, like five
Hmm.
hundred plus dollar investment
yeah,
twice a
one
month
Yeah,
for like
yeah,
Revu Starlight, right? I think the problem is one, it's a lot of sets, and two, it's sets
not
that
every
aren't going to
set's a hit.
move.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
agree,
get
Alex. Weiss
yeah,
does
you
need
have
to
to
slow
gamble,
down.
and then yeah, shout out to Alex
That,
Hodges in chat
hmm
dropping off that $10 super chat. Dude, the one day I don't stream, I
Number one community
but yeah.
supporter. I'm
I
gonna
Oh,
be
was
honest.
talking to
oh wait,
I was talking to Riaz recently too about uh tournament incentives. When you have like these new games popping out, like with Battle Spirits coming soon, their first tournament's gonna have a $1 million prize pool.
But it's a shit game.
But like I know this series it's selling out. People
I
aren't able to get enough supplies because of this tournament
Right, but
incentive.
I think that's like disingenuous to say that like the tournament support. I mean, let's look at thanks
Tournaments
to the
for
click.
100% supports a game.
No, but it's never been a thing. Yu-Gi-Oh players don't make cash, but Yu-Gi-Oh's one of the biggest games out there. It's like
Yeah,
only
but
it
they
previously only Magic was worth playing, but like
because
you still play other games.
they have such a long history
But you
as
still
a
other play
newer,
games.
relatively newer game. Like
Weiss is not
Weiss
newer.
hasn't gone. Weiss has not. Most of the people in Weiss are like within the last 3 years with the
Wait,
game,
really quick.
right?
I like where we're going with this conversation, but let's just finish off the last conversation that we started with
Mm-hmm.
as far as like store owners go and how like
Mm-hmm.
un unironically like this is the year that Boucher decided to like start pushing Weiss products where it's like almost twice a month right now for English,
Mm-hmm.
where before our issue was like they wouldn't release enough stuff, and like unfortunately for them, this is the same year that like One Piece is getting big because it just came out. Battle Spirits is coming out, and like you said, they have $1 million tournament that's making people at least look at their game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where and stuff like that. We have
Shadowverse,
Shadowverse Evolve that's coming out, and like
Lorcana.
Shadowverse Evolve in Japan is insane. Like the turnouts for their events are like in the thousands for like
Yeah, but like
regional
even Weiss events don't turn out is like really big for the finals events, aren't they?
in Japan
Yeah.
nowadays.
Weiss is bigger. Or no. Weiss is actually smaller
No.
than Shadowverse.
Shadowverse is bigger than Weiss in
Yeah,
Japan.
but what I'm saying is I'm not saying it's bigger than Shadowverse, but I'm saying just because it does well in Japan doesn't mean it will translate to
Oh yeah,
America.
yeah, of course not. But I'm saying like this is the year, unfortunately, where like a shit ton of TCGs decide they're all going to compete for the market right
Yep.
now, and because of that, stores are going to be exposed more to a lot more risk. So they have to choose way more wisely on what they're investing
Mm-hmm.
in. And one of the big things about Weiss is like I think other card games don't have this problem as bad. At least from every store owner I've ever talked to, they have this problem with Weiss where they'll get product and then like if they don't move it quick enough, it's just dead product on their shelves for the rest of the year. It'll never move. Maybe they'll sell one booster randomly or whatever. If they don't have a decent local scene that's willing to like pick up their like the strangling packs and stuff at stores,
Mhm.
it's almost impossible for them to move. So
Like
like
I remember, I think it was a year, maybe two ago now. I went to the store for near a regional, and I bought their Haruhi boxes. Those were the original print run Haruhi
There's no
boxes.
second print.
Oh, there was never a second print?
No, no,
Yeah.
the set fucking didn't sell. It's been sitting on a store shelf
Well,
for 10 years. You think that
I
set was
bought
gonna get reprinted?
the set sat somewhere for 10 years and I got it. I was like, sets just sit like that when Weiss isn't uh if a set isn't a popular IP or if it's not a very strong set, it just doesn't sell.
That's the way it's always been, and I think we're gonna see that going forward after this collector boom. Right? It's like a bunch of collectors came in, and if they, they came in because they wanted stonks, right? They wanted the money, they
Mhm.
wanted whatever. Old stuff is short supply. Like it's been sitting on a
It's
shelf, but
also
nobody wants it.
it's
So
also
suddenly they
it's
want it.
also a lot harder for stores when backpackers are a thing.
Backpackers are kind of a problem, and the way that Weiss is bought is also the problem, right? If I'm playing
yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh, if I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh or something, for instance, I may have my deck, but like I'm still like the chase card is still in the box or something, or like I don't know.
Mhm.
There's like I don't own everything. With Weiss, it's like I go give a guy $200, I own everything. And
yeah. I
what is
mean,
the
once
purpose of
again,
your box for 80?
I don't want to like go over the same issue we always cry about as far as like how Bushiroad handles their distribution of booster cases and stuff, and how your return on investment or expected return on a case is like, well, this is one of the most consistent card games to do it in, right? And then there's a second issue where like I don't want to like say the people who are doing this or even the name the distributors and stuff, but there are some distributors out there like um since Bushiroad doesn't like force you to have special accounts like Hasbro does and stuff like that with other distributors. A lot of people who have like business licenses, they if they just randomly open their own business license that it basically costs nothing for them to do, they can start ordering product immediately at the dealer rate. Of course, you're not going to get as good of a deal as like stores that are buying like 10 cases at a time, which there's probably barely any stores at the moment that are doing that.
Mhm.
um but at the same time you're gonna get at almost cost prices just by like filling out a form with your state and then like paying a little extra tax on it. And then the next thing too is I know some distributors for a fact don't even check if you have a license or anything, because also I don't believe Bushiroad is like checking on this or trying to like control how like product gets out to stores and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of people um, and backpack sellers who are getting product without having like an actual brick and mortar store or even an online store. They're just still getting the product at cost, which is ridiculous. I think like if backpack
It's
sellers are a
unhealthy.
really big issue, that's probably the first part is you want to stop that like from happening at the distributor level, so
Mhm.
that the people who are doing backpack selling aren't getting sealed product at the price that brick and mortar stores
But
are.
I also think it's like always on the community as a whole too to like try to like help your locals by buying their product, but I feel like almost nobody does that.
Yeah, like the same
It's
thing with
hard when you don't have a full-time job.
yeah, and then like that's a big thing too. Like how we're getting really deep into Shadowverse English, and we're trying to push that on our secondary channel and everything like that. When the communities that I'm playing Shadowverse Evolve in or plan to, I've already told them up front that like, listen, if no stores around you, if is gonna like try to build the community off the like right off the bat, I will literally let you guys basically buy the product from me at cost plus whatever the shipping is to get it to you, to these locals I'm going to be playing at. uh, but if there is a store there that is selling sealed product, I refuse to sell it to them because I want them to spend that extra money to build the community, to let the stores know that, hey, we're gonna have a community here that's gonna be interested in Shadowverse Evolve. So this is a game we want you to invest in and invest in us as a community, right?
Yeah, I've
We
already went to my
yeah
locals and talked to them about like the profit margins and all of that, and like had them look at it, and
yeah
told them I would TO on like 1 day a week at two different locals just in my town. So I'm gonna do the best I can to get that game off. I think that might be somewhere I fail. I don't know. Like Weiss has always been the hardest game to get people to sit down and play, so I'm hoping that we don't have the same issue. Um, or it's not been the hardest game to sit down and play. It's the hardest game I feel to have somebody come back the next week.
Stock Swap Games says, I don't think it's as easy as you think. I linked Hammer Girl to a Pokemon store that has an LLC, and they did not get accepted. If this is for Japanese product, if you need a store that if you need the distributor that doesn't ask questions and you show me it's a real store that's asking for it, I can link it to you later if you just message me in Discord. But there are distributors like that. Hammer Girl is like a fake distributor in the sense that they got a special deal early on before JP Weiss was the thing in America, and like the whole reason we're totally fucked as far as like the community being able to grow with JP and like having JP at events as official events here in America is because of Hammer Girl, which really fucking sucks.
I wish that. I mean, but like, I think that.
Like like when I say like Hammer Girl fucked us, just to be clear, is if you were back in the community back in 2012, 2014, that time, and if you remember the first ever English Weiss event that also had Japanese, that was hosted by Bushiroad USA, they basically got a cease and desist letter from Hammer Girl, Hammer Girl's company, to tell them that they can't do that because of really shitty contracts that were written a long time ago before Bushiroad knew they were gonna like bring Weiss to English essentially. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, Alex Hodges, Weiss is hard to teach. It took him 6 months. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is it's a very abstract game. It's like turning the card sideways. That part's easy, but then everything else is it doesn't. It's not like other card games at all. Like right, there's no like health total where you see the line.
Yeah.
It's
Well, one of the like it's the play style is almost kind of like Pokemon in a way, where all your decks are solitary to do a certain thing, and then you just gotta know the matchups. But like Dean was saying, like there's no straight path of health totals and
well,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
because Pokemon at least you can go okay. I can map out the prizes and map out this,
Yeah.
but like the skill comes down. Like the actual skill of how like you maneuver your deck is like similar esque.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things too is Weiss games compared to other card games are like 3 times as long.
They're
Like
really
most
long.
yeah, most card games, like my first game is done in 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I got all the basic sounds now. I can kind of play the game and figure it out myself. And like you said, figure out lines based on how the game is supposed to be played out. But Weiss is just there's a lot of abstract things you have to consider, which is really different. I'm gonna be right back.
Oh no, he's gone.
Weiss is probably one of the harder games to teach because the
It's
mechanics are
really
so different than what any other card games or basically any other game you've played before. That
you okay. You can teach
uh,
somebody like how to attack in 5 minutes and tell them about stock, but I always find people be like, okay, where does the card go after the trigger? What do I do here? I attack you. What happens? Um, Giving a quick rundown of how to like turn cards sideways, but then like
if anything, I could give someone a quick run on how to play Magic or like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, you have
in
Magic
two
cards, you have
seconds.
tap cards,
Yeah,
right?
you give me 1 minute, I'll teach you to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like
Like it's I think that's a little disingenuous. 5 minutes is
yeah, like it's like
because
yes, explaining the quick how to play for all these games are
because
facts.
I think it takes 2 games on average, which is about an hour, to see people being able to attack and remember that they can move cards around. That's just like just in general. Like every time I sat down with like a new player, it's usually 2 games before they can like do a turn on their own. Like skill aside, like right, they might be like attacking with brainstorms turn 1. Who knows? Um, but just play the game. It usually takes 2 games, which is about an hour.
I've
Yeah,
been in
like
some cases where it's even been more than that. Where like they
Okay,
can play
well,
the game, but like being able to remember like where can I move my cards now? Can I do this or that? Or where do I put stock or whatever when I attack? Sometimes that stuff takes like a lot longer to like be able to
yeah, do think it
conceptualize and
depends on
remember.
their TCG player history, right?
Mhm. Obviously, but also like I think Weiss is one of the ones where you actually capture people who aren't used to playing TCGs just because it's anime.
Yeah, and then those are the ones that are really hard because like they don't have the foundation. And one of my favorite articles that I read forever ago, back when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, was a guy who was a Magic player, like a pro Magic player, and he started playing Pokemon. And he talked about the learning curve for TCGs. And he said your first
mhm.
card game will take you 2 to 3 years to be competitive in, and your second one onward will take about 6 months. So that first
I could pretty much
TCG,
agree with that.
That first TCG is always the roughest one.
Absolutely. And then like when Weiss doesn't have a lot of like similar mechanics to other games, it's like really hard to transfer knowledge over.
Yeah, that's for sure. There's a lot of unique factors in Weiss, which makes it really awkward, especially if it's your first
That's
TCG,
why
like you
that's why
said.
we get the card rides on the way back from the regional where we're like, okay, we'll spend 3 hours on one turn that happened. It took like 30 seconds to happen.
Yeah.
Most games don't need dice tokens or accessories.
Magic.
They just make the game easier.
Ooh, Shadowverse has a lot of funny
And
tokens that
like
you can play with.
what's it called? And then if you're talking about like an intro deck, like even Shadowverse intro decks, Magic intro decks, things like that, structure decks, they typically have the tokens you need for that deck specifically. Um, but Magic even comes with dice sometimes.
I think
Then
it's more the fact that in other games you
My
have
boy
to keep
Hanson?
track of like all those stuff, right?
Hanson, get in
because
the
you're
chat.
looking at tokens separately than cards on the field, right?
We get in which chat.
Uh, Send him the link, Kit. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Under show notes. Oh wait, do you
Uh,
even have permission to see show notes?
yes, I do.
Oh, okay. There you go. We're on the Wereby thing because we're bringing back cams, unless you don't want to be on cam.
Oh,
Uh,
what's it called? Does Shadowverse have heroes or is it like Pokemon? What do
uh,
you mean by
there,
heroes?
there are leaders in Shadowverse, but it's literally like this is the deck I'm playing, and then you set it to the side
Oh,
and never
like
interact
a
with it.
commander.
Yeah, yeah, but you almost
Okay.
never interact with it. It's just like a
Mhm.
bling card you get to flex on your opponent.
Yeah, it's more like buddy fight where you have your flag to like show your nation. I don't know if you know what buddy fight is. Uh yeah. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
your lead.
it's kind of like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you essentially need to show off what your deck build is going to be. Like if I am
Your
I
class
playing
because like
Swordcraft or I'm playing this
it's a
because it's
class
like
based game, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and that's all it
yeah.
is. What was I gonna say?
Oh yeah, just the
Kinda,
fun
but
part.
like One Piece, your leaders actually do stuff. The leader does absolutely nothing other than indicate the deck you're playing.
Yeah, you get to look. You have the bling, and that's it.
Yeah, and you can bling it out too, which is sick. Kinda. It's like blinking out your field center in Yuya.
There we go. Mike's back on. Yeah, some of the center markers can be like up to like $500.
Yeah.
Big
Uh,
flex.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, but I was saying something about tokens. Tokens are basically just other cards you play, other monsters you play.
Yeah.
So like
Like in
Okay.
Magic,
I
basically.
don't think
Yeah.
keeping track of tokens is like complicated. It's just more monsters you have to play.
It is coming to English.
Yes,
June
it is
30th.
in summer. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I'm still debating on case. You know anything about case ratios, dude?
I was told 2 playsets from someone between the foils and the non-foils.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if that's 100% true.
Okay.
I've never opened a case, but I will be soon.
Yeah. We
I
all will
was
be opening cases
debating
pretty
either a
soon.
case or just get a playset because I don't think I'd played much outside of Abyss or Shadow. I think it's called Abyss in
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, it's called Abyss in English. Yeah. No, it's called Spooky Craft. We're making it a
Yeah.
thing. Spooky Craft.
Spooky Craft. I'm
That was
down.
the meme.
XD.
But yeah.
Uh, that I'm
It's
playing
also got
Gray.
waifus, and I'm hoping we get those collabs.
Mhm.
Oh, if we don't get those collabs, I'm gonna be really
If
pissed.
we
'Cause I
don't
want
It's
get
that.
like
I
Lelouch
want
of the Rebellion.
I want
there
that.
is
Oh my
Code
deck.
Geass and then there's the Uma Musume. I'm
Yeah.
hoping they do. There's some of their other collabs. I
Chikawa.
just wonder if they could get their licensing in America.
Well, they already
I
did
think.
on the digital game, right?
I guess you're
Yeah.
right. They did.
Side
Yeah,
Games
but I
also
think
has more money than Bushiro.
yeah, I think the physical stuff is licensed differently in America. I don't know laws really well, but
Hmm.
at the same time, like even the stuff that Side Games has like licensing for collabs for Shadowverse, like
Hmm.
some of those are even Bushiro properties. So I think that's part of the reason why Bushiro is also like distributing it, right? So they should
Yeah.
have no issue being able to print like if they're printing Kaguya, they can have the Kaguya collab in Shadowverse as well,
So
right?
they do
So
have. The
yeah.
real question is, will we get near?
Near. Oh, that would be sick actually. If they do a near collab in Shadowverse Evolve, like they did in the digital. Dude, holy shit! I'd have to spend so much money to get that 2B app.
And then there's like Fate too, because I know what's
Yeah,
called.
they has Fate as well. I think. Wait,
Side Games has a
because remember,
lot of Aniplex crossovers. They also have ReZero.
They have Harvey.
Yeah.
Both Idolmasters, Cinderella Girls. They have Love Live.
Hmm.
Um,
They had all the side game because it's a side games game.
you're going to Weiss 100%. I think. Oh,
look
wait,
at
there is the
Alex.
anime.
Alex is in chat with the copium.
There is the anime. I hear it's doing really poorly.
Is it?
I haven't heard good things. I could be wrong.
Oh, that kind of sucks. Ugh. All right. Any other anything else we need to talk about for the Weiss stuff?
For Weiss, I'm just excited for what Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is hype.
Yeah.
Guilty Gear is hype. I plan on buying a case of that, even though I plan on like taking a back step from the competitive side of the game after this trios. I'm still gonna buy product. Spy Family, I'm excited for.
I am.
Are you
Chainsaw
not gonna
Man.
do singles this year, Dean?
No, Shadowverse comes out, and then I'm moving to that like as the main game. I can't.
Yeah. I mean, you
I-
can still play. Well, if it's not on the same day, you can still play it, right?
Because of the Japan trip I took, so many days off of work, and the way that my job works, I can only. If Weiss is on Sunday and then Shadowverse is on Saturday, there's no way I can get like both days off. I can't get like a Friday and a Monday off enough times. So like if it was in Chicago, I could do Weiss. But historically, Chicago's impossible to top because I'm going to be honest. There's like monsters out there,
Yeah.
like Clinton, who if he shows up to a regional, you just accept that you can't get first anymore. It's like kind of insane. Yeah, if they the same tournament day is like a problem. If it's the same tournament day, then that's 100%. I know what my choice is.
Yeah, it would be tragic if they're the same day.
If it's same day, I
Well,
don't.
no, they're not the same events. Like,
if they're completely
isn't it like
separate
Bushiroad
events,
is only handling the
they're handling the competitive
card
play
tape, the
and
cards.
the distribution.
Are they handling competitive play America too? That's cringe.
Yeah. I think in Japan they don't handle the competitive play at all.
Yeah, they don't.
There's no way that setup is done by Bushiroad.
Yeah, there's no way. But in America for the English release, it's been handed off to Bushiroad, which is kind of scary.
All right, Prange.
Yeah, we basically
because like I don't think I've been to a single event that wasn't delayed by like half an hour.
Yeah, I think I can count. I've been playing Weiss since 2012, and I think I can to this day I think I can count how many times on one hand that a Bushiroad event went through with no problems at all.
Okay, but I've staffed quite a few times.
And every time you staffed, you had problems.
I know.
Even your fault.
And like, what's it called? Worlds had like 3 repairs, and then even there was something with it. I don't.
Bro,
like Ria,
nothing.
it was Riaz and someone else. Riaz and someone else wasn't in the system.
That sounds good.
That's really powerful.
Atlanta 2019 was hilarious.
Yeah, 2019 Atlanta will never be.
There's nothing funnier than hearing he winded my Reinhardt. Wait, that's hexproof. Oh wait, we have to repair top 4.
That's BM.
What do you mean you have to repair top 4?
after they all finished their games, top 4 finished their games, and then they were like, "We have to repair because we fucked up." How do you fuck up an 8-man bracket? I don't get.
It was a 4-man. It was a 4-man bracket. The 8-man bracket was already done.
I misspoke. It was 2 repairs, not 3.
Oh my god.
Gomeno, sorry.
Yeah.
2 repairs of 3.
I over exaggerated.
I can
slightly.
almost understand. I can almost understand when you have like 50 or 40 players, however many they had at Worlds. Your Worlds have pretty good attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like, oh no, we missed one thing. Let's fix it real quick.
Yeah. This just feels like
don't worry,
it's their biggest event ever, and that like dropping the ball like that's like extremely disheartening as a player looking for Bushiroad to do well.
Well, I hear. I mean, I guess I don't actually know. I don't know how the events were ran this year because I wasn't in the tournaments in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the main person that was doing events back in 2019 no longer works there, so I can only hope that the tournaments aren't ran as poorly. But like Kit would know more. He went to more regionals last year.
Do you think I was paying attention at those regionals? I just assume
was anything like on fire because like before it was like kind of
Yeah, they paired me against Clinton twice. It was bullshit.
That's
but-
really
Shit.
cool.
Made some money.
Like I see like
yeah.
issues like that. I don't understand how issues like that happen. No,
Oh, but
sure
wait, wait,
it
wait.
happens, but like this is like unacceptable levels
But
for the biggest tournament of the year.
yeah,
When you only have a single massive tournament every year,
I do think
right?
though that going forward, later in this year, it will be better. At least on the pairing end, because we're gonna get the Bushi Nav.
Oh yeah, I
Thanks
hope
to
that
Psy
fixes
Game.
a lot of
Okay, I
issues.
don't know if it's entirely thanks to Psy Games, but it's kind of like, kind of strange that it happens at the same time as another game coming out in their roster. That's funded by a much bigger company, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hopefully it gets better, you know?
Because that
Yeah,
should fix a lot of things, like the deck log. The deck log thing. How's the deck log thing been? Has it been better? It has to be better than the Rin sheets, right? The Rin sheets were awful.
What's it called? And like finally, it is a lot better than the Rin sheets that was miserable, but they finally let America like submit last minute deck lists so we can make changes up to the day of, which is
Oh
sick.
yeah, thank
Doesn't matter.
God.
I lock in a month before.
Every single like other fucking country had that. And it was just
Uh,
like just not NA.
Bushi Nabi soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be so sick, right? Right?
Yeah.
Better be. And then, like you said too, actually for teams, you can still register up to the day of, but obviously registering beforehand is probably more important if you're worried about getting capped out. But I think
I don't
even
think there's
actually
no
you can
way
register
teams
at the
cap.
event.
There's literally
No
no
way
way
teams
teams
cap.
cap.
It
Yeah.
probably not, but I'm just saying,
The game
it's
has
always better
grown,
safe than
but like
sorry.
even then, it's like
Like we're they
not
were
as much as other games.
like I don't think we could even hit 128 teams.
I don't think we can hit 50 in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
I think that 50 teams will be like 2, maybe 3 regionals total. If I'm being honest, I guess I could be wrong. Is that about right, Kit?
Probably. I mean, I know like basically it's like you look at California, and that's probably going to be the first, if not, it's going to be like a top 3 size tournaments of the year, if not like literally the biggest one, right?
Mhm.
So then that kind of tells you, because I think what's the only other place that was bigger than California? Was it Mexico or something ridiculous?
I think it was Chicago, right?
Or Chicago?
Chicago had
Chicago
150.
singles was like 170 people.
That was 150.
Was it? No,
I mean,
I remember
I just
more.
remembered Chicago, Cali, and New York were the biggest ones, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those 3 needed 8 rounds, and only New York got 8 rounds.
Meanwhile, Atlanta was like 70.
Yeah.
I still find it
Atlanta
funny.
is
There's
like the
that one European trios that had so few people that they had to turn it into singles format.
Well,
That's
also
funny.
Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the one I was. Oh no! That
Nino-
was the one
Nino will be
that's a
topping.
30. Yeah.
Nino is still good because they still have access to everything
Yeah, it's really
except
gross.
the next whole counter. I don't think Nino will be bad until they ban the level 3 or like they cut it to 2 of like in Japan. Until then, Nino
worry.
reigns free.
Don't worry. I plan for Spice in Toronto and Spice in Atlanta. After that, I don't know how strong I can be.
See, set 2 Quins felt obnoxious, then then they printed set 3. And everyone was just like, oh, it gets worse.
It constantly gets worse.
It gets worse.
All right. Anything else news wise or anything for Weiss we want to go over?
I mean, Hololive is still sick, and then Hololive is also getting another set. I'll also probably be running Hololive in Springfest.
I just close my eyes when I see these Hololive reveals. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Well, I guess I'm also running Hololive because someone else is already running Nino on my team, so
It's the way it's always gonna work.
Iron's Goats is cringe until you play into AOT and you're like, ha ha ha. There's that one Suisei combo, the new set. So it's a 2-1 that changes the Suisei. It's either, and then the combo is either pay 1, ditch 1, burn 2, or you
Dress up
rearrange the
Nagato.
opponent's field. Yeah, or dress up Nagato. It's really fucking funny.
God damn it. I don't want to be in this game anymore. Thank God Shadow versus. Oh my God, how do you? I'm like,
So-
how do I play around this bullshit? This is fucking.
You either burn 2 or dress up Nagato at at level
God.
2. And dress up Nagato's, you send your entire opponent's board to memory, and then you bring them back in an order of your
I
choosing. So
can't
you place it
believe
wherever you
Army
want.
is getting nerfed. Like they keep,
And it's
they're losing their edge.
non-targeted. Non-targeted. So it's fucking hilarious. Or did I say the 2-1 changes to 3-2? Sorry, the 0-0 changes to 3-2.
At
Too
level
much
0.
Kanata, you know. It does not. It
Gorilla
does
Grodd,
not.
baby, let's go.
Oh, let me.
Bro, they could bring Gorilla Grodd back. That deck was not playable even with a level 3 coming out at
Yeah,
1-0.
even with level 3, it was not very good.
Look, the Gorilla Grodd would just like win some games out, right?
No. No. Dan,
I-
I sleeved
no,
it. I sleeved it. It doesn't.
Listen, it wins. It wins when you play against it for the first time and don't realize they're going to turn into a level 3, and then
No.
after
Yeah, so,
that,
like,
it never wins.
That's still not
It's
good
like-
enough.
Gorilla Grodd is just like one of the few sets that also show that Bushiroad don't want to break things unintentionally. 'Cause they just forgot that the same cards share the same name. 100%.
Oh, absolutely. They probably copy pasted a bunch of names over, and then they're
They
like,
did.
"Oh shit!"
It's a really bad set. Thank God our English exclusives are a little bit better than that now.
That was such a rough
Yes,
set.
English originals are nice. They're getting some very big IPs too. Like, no matter what you think about like Avatar or something, that is a massive IP. Guilty Gear was massive. Brings hope for like Blaze Blue and other fuck, I can't remember the company name now, but other games by that company.
Arxis, is that what you're thinking about?
Arxis, yes
What
sir.
have they made?
Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, Frost
Grand
Ruby
Blue.
support.
They
Insane.
made Grand Blue Versus,
Oh,
or
Grand Blue
they helped
Versus.
make the engine for it.
Yeah.
I'm pulling them up. I'm looking at their games. Hopefully there's no
DNF
loud music.
Duel.
P4 Arena.
Ground drivers.
Michael
shit.
Jackson's Moonwalker for the Sega.
Kill the
I don't
Kill.
know.
Kill the Kill. The fighting game. New support.
Yep.
We got support in 2023. Maybe we'll get more support in 2024.
Did we get support yet? It hasn't even come out yet.
Comes
has it?
out. Comes out in a couple days.
They made DBF Fighter or DBZ Fighter, yeah. Yeah, I think Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue are their two biggest IPs.
Some guy said that he helped like get that that crossover going. So I don't know if we would get more.
Yeah.
than that.
He worked at Arxis and it was able to, you know,
Just pretty
finesse some
insane. It's
stuff
pretty
also.
insane.
Yes. I want a Makima sign. Like, wait. Please tell me Chainsaw Man is an Aniplex.
Oh no. No, it was Mappa, right? Well, I guess Mappa's the producer.
And it was one. Okay, we're good. We should have signs. Right.
No way, Chainsaw Man is a good show. Well, according to DVD sales, Chainsaw Man sucks. Hey, but yeah. All right. Do we have anything else we're talking about? You want to hit up these polls I did?
Yeah, we
during
can
that
talk about
time
your
Sure.
polls.
close
That
that
you've
out.
been
Up.
spamming.
Yeah. I
Hell
forgot
yeah,
it was Mopper for
I
a
was
second.
spamming. I was spamming, and then someone made me feel bad for no reason, so I stopped doing the polls. I was like, "Fuck it, no one deserves discussion in this community because no one cares." All right, but really, the first poll I did, if you guys didn't see, this was on the global community on Facebook because for some horrible reason, everyone still uses Facebook for this game. The first thing I asked was how many people would be interested in the push to bring standard back to being a relevant format. Only 12% said yes, and then 88% said hell no, we never want to like see standard again. Personally, when I see like this type of response to it, I don't even know. Like, first of all, everyone that voted in this probably has never played standard.
It's sick.
Like, I would say 99% of them never played standard format in Weiss. That's my first guess in general because most new people I don't think ever even knew standard was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the most recent non-Japanese event was the Australian one, right? That ran standard.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another standard event at all before?
Wait till
No,
I run a
that's it.
proper Highlander standard again. At my 8-man.
What's it called? Yeah, I do think standard solves a few problems that Weiss has, where Weiss doesn't put like not every set gets pushed because not everyone needs every set.
Okay.
Staples don't carry over between sets, so your initial investments aren't good unless your set gets future
Yeah.
support.
But here's the thing, Dan, is like I have to edit this video like a lot for what I want to do, so it's probably gonna be around April when this gets out. I have
Mhm.
a 2008 standard and 2009 standard games that we played. We ran a 4-man bracket.
Sure.
That is the sickest format ever. Okay, there's like very few times that you play a Weiss deck and you think this is sick, but when you're playing like standard,
Mhm.
you can do insane things that are
Yeah,
legitimately cool.
I agree.
As long as you don't have the OTKs, like as long as there's no like OTKs and you ban
Yeah,
those.
balancing is the biggest issue with standard.
But
Yeah.
but there are things you can do, and I think that's the hard thing is like Weiss as a game. It's very rare that you can build something and think this is cool. But I was playing like 2008, and I was like, oh my god, like think about 2008 cards, right? Like play a standalone set, it's unplayable. But when you're playing with just standard, you have all these cool interactions. Decks are legitimately sick. And
Yes.
it can be the same now. I mean, because the only real problem is that you have like FTK, but even the hand loop is sick. We had hand loop in the thing, and it's like not even consistent, but like it's kind of sick too. That like you have this like really shitty hand loop deck in this like format. I know that card's banned, but like even
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
banned, it's still cool. It's like a cool thing that you can do.
I think one of the things too that like I don't know if this would have affect people voting in this poll as well is that the assumption that I guess was baked in without being said is that if it becomes a real format, Boucher would actually try or like there would be some kind of ban list and stuff to fix things. Because the last time before the most recent changes to standard format was I think before that was like 5 plus years ago because they basically wrote this off as a dead format where like they never updated the ban list. They didn't like look at things because they stopped running it at big events and stuff like that. Um, but like one thing that Dan was saying that I think one of the big things that standard does for the game as well is like you said, where like sets that would just be like written off and stuff suddenly will have chase cards for special
Mhm.
decks. And like Dean said too, there's like a lot of unique things you can do in standard that you can't do in Neo Standard. That makes the game way more interesting and way more fun. And I always think having more formats for people to play with their cards is always good in the long run.
Mhm.
Like even as a collector person or quote unquote investor or whatever, they should be interested in having more formats in Weiss because it would make other random unplayable cards now worth something, right? And so maybe those become new chase cards that people can collect and so
Now,
forth. This is
I
kind of what
don't think
happened.
there's an 8 standby standard deck, is there?
I don't think so because most
but
Yeah, no.
standard decks right now are literally like I get to level 1, I force
Mhm.
myself to immediately level 3, and your opponent loses.
that's
Yeah, and
It's
then
insane.
like
there's
That's
like
as
funny.
if you
the
yeah.
only reason decks even runs climaxes is that some decks run climaxes is that they're scared of the
Well,
50 solo attack swinger.
okay, so I'm gonna be honest though.
Yeah,
I really, Kit, should we host? Should we host
standard.
a Pauper Highlander standard tournament online?
I mean, I don't care. I'm down to help, but I don't want to set it up. You'd have to set
Because
most of it
that
up.
is
I
the
don't mind.
sickest format. Because I think there is like problems. There's so many random OTKs. Standard as a whole, little bit like unbelievable. But it is cool. It is cool, and like as like thing that you could randomly do. I don't think anybody should be opposed to it.
Honestly, I think anyone that's trying to come up with new formats outside of waifu is like I think we
Waifu's
should try to.
awful.
Yeah, I hate waifu, but it's as I don't like waifu, but it's still like a different format to play. But I think the fact this is like what I took away from the poll is that no one in the community actually likes playing Weiss.
No, no,
Bec-
because it is. I think it's like, yeah, they like the picture on the card, and they don't. Or I think it's more that they don't want to like think. Right? It's like Bushiroad hands them decks, and like when you get into
Maybe in
something
a
like
in a
standard,
way.
it was like the thing that I noticed was a little bit with like Pauper Highlander standards. I got super excited when I came up with that format and we did it at locals a couple times. But like some people just come with like 8 2 souls and like 4 Jinsus, and you're like, sure, you can do that. But like I'm out here buying King of Fighter brainstorms and like, like right, I'm out here trying to get like
Yeah.
all of these weird things. The Zero no Tsukaima
So
bodyguard that heals when I trigger, and then I'm getting like twin drives and all this like these wonky ass cards to build like insane combos. And then Lucky Star has the funniest card.
Right. So like the issue with that is that requires a lot of prior knowledge that most people don't have.
No, I didn't have this knowledge either. I sat down and I spent 8 hours reading fucking the first like 20 sets of the game.
Yeah, and
It was
that's
I
something
insane.
mean,
most people
I
don't want to
think
do.
But if
yeah,
you're
even
playing a
if you
card
say
game, you should want to do that.
yeah,
Like honestly, if you,
it,
I think if you're wanting to play like an alternate
Not
format of card
not
game,
real alternate formats maybe, but there's absolutely zero incentive for a player to actually sit down and waste their 8 hours doing that.
well, yeah, that's the whole reason of like if we want to bring other formats into like the limelight of like let's say we don't want it to be as the quote unquote competitive format people have to play, but it could be another competitive format people could play on the
Because
side as like
they
side events at events and stuff like that. It would give people incentive to look at other things. And like I think one of the biggest cop outs to like people answering like I don't want to play with broken infinite shit is that or they think like oh music has the most support so music is just going to be broken or whatever. It it it
I
none of
mean
these people
there's
consider like how metas evolve and people start figuring out things faster and faster
Mhm.
as new competitive things pop out and things we had to like fight against will
like
change how people build decks and everything like that.
yeah.
I
sure,
think
but
the
like
standard
the
I think well sorry one second. I think the
mhm,
standard meta would always be this evolving mishmash of things and of
yeah,
course like as a community or as Bushiroad we'll have to step in and be like hey we got to remove this infinite combo or something like that or if we created a rule like one thing I think they should add into rules is like if there's ever a loop that can happen, you can only do that loop like X amount of times in a row before you're forced to do something else completely. I think that would be a good way to like try to curb like any really degenerate
like
combos. But yeah, go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
but like that's like kind of going too far, right? Like the who cares about how the game plays when there's zero incentive to do so? There's barely any incentive to play competitive Neo standard as it is. It does have a functional standard ban list that has been updated pretty like recently over the last couple since they started doing the quarterly updates. But
I hate the incentive
right
thing.
now,
That's like
it's
the
just like
wrong way to look at games. I
uh,
don't think
Yeah,
that's
anybody
how
in
people
any
play the game.
don't you play the game because it's fun?
It is fun,
literally
but like when you
Yeah,
have a
get
small
him,
community,
get him.
yeah, yeah,
right?
but like
It's a very niche community, and
it
you're trying to
is.
push for a format that's a niche part of that niche community. You have to have incentive to play.
Yeah, well, I mean,
No one's gonna try it out.
we have to start somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
like I think just being able to be like, "Hey guys, what if we just did some standard events or something for fun?" But it seems like the community
Pauper
just like
Highlander.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like I said, when I looked at this poll, I felt like I get the feeling that most people like don't really like playing Weiss when they already own cards and they don't want to try like a different format for fun just because of like whatever
No, but
what is
I mean,
waifu's cool.
yeah. I hate waifu. I think waifu is one of the worst
but then
formats
like
in
the
the
other issue is that who brought it up? So I was getting old cards. Some old cards are impossible to get and find.
I mean, yeah, but like
There is a new infinite with I
I'm
think it
gonna
was
be
with
honest with you, Dan. The
Dragon
first
Maid.
the first Pauper Highlander standard I ran was in 2018.
Uh-huh.
And back then, yeah, there were a lot of like cards that you kind of need that were old. But I think that with the current printings, you can replace a lot of those now. There's still a couple cards that would like spike up in price if this was a real format, like namely the Zero no Tsukaima Bodyguard. That's like the grossest card I've ever read. But other than that, like I feel like most cards should be easy to get.
Essentially missing from Weiss corners how difficult winning curve is either when teams with more equals and locals. Yeah, I agree, Alex. Like
well, I don't know if
incentive
necessarily
because like the game is only fun if you're already playing it. Like the issue with Weiss isn't that issue with Weiss is the community is small, and how do we get new players, more players through the door? And
Hey, do you
like,
like Batman Ninja?
I the one I kind of disagree though on the fact that that entire thing equals sad locals. I think locals are different and like how am I going to word this? Locals are built around the community of players that you have there. And obviously there are going to be some hyper competitive locals or some shit where like there's just assholes. Like if you've played MTG or other big card games, there are some stores that are just known for being super competitive and everyone there's a piece of shit because they're just jerks because they want to be nothing but like the most spiked player possible and nitpick everything, right? And like only want to play meta shit. I think when it comes to like locals and how fun or enjoyable they are to you, it's so subjective, and each locals is going to be built different around different types of player bases. Because I've been to like
Hmm.
locals of Pokemon where it's super competitive, and then I've been to other locals where it's like literally just a bunch of kids playing and having fun and playing the most kitchen table Pikachu deck because they're like my favorite Pokemon's Pikachu, and that's the reason I play the game. Like I don't buy that the easier game with bigger prize pools or whatever being as far as incentivization goes will translate into a worse locals experience. I think at the end of the day that comes down to the people who are in the community and what kind of locals you're looking for. Um, and then Stockstop Games in chat also said about if Standard becomes popular, then people will have to choose to sign up for Neo Standard or Standard at Bushi events, and also talks about Vanguard how like you have to choose between the events. I don't consider that like even I don't even consider that even an argument for or against Standard at the end of the day because uh every time you go to any of these events or any card game events, you're choosing to do this event over everything else you could possibly be doing that day. You could be going to like unironically, like you could either choose to go to a Bushiroad event for the day and play one card game that you like, or you can go out with your friends to like a ball game or some shit, right? Like you're
Well,
always
no, no,
going.
no. So what he's saying is that because Vanguard and Weiss events run at the exact same time, he has to choose between the two, which I think is
Yeah,
cringe.
it's cringe in general, but like you're always set up where you have to choose something between something if you want to do one or the other. And
Yeah.
obviously some things like Standard won't be as popular or whatever
Hmm.
because people don't like it as much. Um and then maybe Neo Standard is still the most popular thing or whatever. But I really don't buy that as like a reason why even having incentives to play a certain format or even like reasons to have other formats like not to have it eventually essentially, right?
No, because so the idea is introducing a second format won't grow the game. It will reduce the current player pool. Well,
No,
split the
no,
current player pool.
it'd be like Gym Leader Challenge for Pokemon. It's something that like, you don't host like tons of locals for. It's just like something that you would maybe have like a locals a month.
No, we're talking about regionals, not
No, no, you
locals.
don't hold the standard. Standard, I don't think we should ever be at a regional. Like that's just like it's like a community thing that you bring back. Wait, unless Kit was saying it should be at regionals.
Hmm? What? Oh no, I was just saying in general, like
Yeah, like a
not
shop,
even
like
saying
once a maybe
even
like
shops
once a
or
month or
even like
something.
online regionals or something just for fun, you know. I'm not saying like it needs to be the next world's like format or something, but I'm just saying like yeah, it's just kind of sad that there's
And
no interest in
Alex,
other
Alex,
formats
I
per
was just talking
se.
about One Piece. I'm just gonna be honest. I think that One Piece, give it a year and a half. A lot of people are in it right now because it's One Piece. It's new, and it has Bandai likes short printing at the beginning of their game's lifespans, which causes a lot of
They
scalping.
didn't. They did not.
The,
One Piece
the
was
you could the
overprinted.
TDs were $50 instead of like 10. Like yeah, they were
Now
short
they
printing.
are. What do you mean? They did multiple. They had what? They had one reprint wave, and they having another one upcoming.
Yeah,
And every single pre-order for set one got filled.
same thing. Same thing happened with
They were not
Digimon
cut
though.
short.
It's
Digimon got
they
fucked. Digimon was fucked, but set one in One Piece was absolutely not short printed.
consistently these Bandai games on launch have been scalped. The scalping dies and the game slowly, like the player base settles. That's what's consistently happened. And
Save will
yeah,
die fast with Dragon Ball. So the thing is, they're games like My Hero that are around pretty much because of the prize pool
yeah,
and the IP.
yeah. It is the
That's
IP.
the two reasons, the IP and the prize pool. And so if Bandai continues to have consistent tournaments with good prizing, the game won't die. Because One Piece is probably one of the largest IPs ever in terms of anime.
Yeah, it never dies. The only thing I would be scared, afraid of, like getting to a Bandai game, is like I feel like Bandai TCGs are always mismanaged. In the long run,
Yes.
Middle of the
early on they
tournament.
do. Yeah. What?
The Dragon Ball Super, I think it was like a Texas tournament. In the middle of the tournament, like early on, I think they like nerfed some Goku in the middle of the it was like round 4 or 5. They said,
What?
by the way, this card is errated, and people went from like being 4-0 to like ending like 4-4 because their
Oh
deck
yeah,
got
I heard about that. That was fucking
their
stupid.
deck got like errated in the middle of the tournament, and
That
Mid-tournament.
they
is
That
were
was
like,
so fucking
insane,
funny.
dude. I would be so fucking mad. That's
That
pretty
was
good.
fucking hilarious.
Never mind, guys. Fucking Bandai Namco is fucking based.
yeah, dude, in the middle of
How
like
about
a
mid
Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, they
tournament?
go, by the way, restriction list.
Dude, yeah, I want people to show up at a Weiss event 3 rounds in. They're like, by the way, guys, standby now no longer works as a trigger. We're just removing it. All right, continue, guys.
Continue.
Imagine set 3 Quince comes out in round 5 or 6 and say, yeah, Nino's limited to 2 now. You have 10 minutes to
Yeah.
change your deck list.
No. They didn't allow deck list changes. That was the best part about it. They just told you your card was errated. They,
You know, I know that round, but I'm saying for Weiss. Imagine if they put a 2 of limit.
Jesus Christ.
You know,
you'll
like
see Kitakali and
Yeah,
Hansen.
you'll see.
And
You'll see
Hansen.
me,
He's the
Hansen,
H. Hansen's
and
the H. He
Johnny.
refuses to actually show himself.
Yeah, he refuses to show his face because he's afraid of making us look too ugly. That's it.
Okay, title
Right.
cups. Well, I guess continue your polls. I guess let's
Okay.
like it too.
Yeah. Okay. The next poll I asked was if next year Worlds could only be either singles or teams, what would you guys prefer? And single. So this is actually surprising. I thought this was gonna be a lot closer, but people prefer singles as a format more than teams. If like as far as like a competitive format, I feel like because of how they voted this, I guess they prefer singles, which is really weird because there's almost no storyline telling in Weiss community for players. So I feel like singles wouldn't be as interesting.
I feel like singles is typically the more popular format because you don't have to find a team. A lot of people like biggest concern is like, yeah, I don't have a lot of people who play the game. People are smaller communities, some can't play because, like, let's say their locals only has 4 or 5 players, right?
Yeah.
That is the problem.
So it makes a lot of issues because of the tiny player base,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like I definitely see singles being more popular despite like competitive integrity and other things like that with trios versus singles.
Yeah, I mean, even taking that into account, I thought it would be closer to a 50-50, but I was totally wrong on this one. I personally think teams would be so cool as a format in at Worlds, even if it was a secondary format or something. Because I think at least with teams it'd be a little easier to create dynamic stories for these teams. Like, oh my god, like SBTCG is like on like a crazy win streak, and like they're gonna play against Burn One or some shit like that, and like people could follow along that way because right now, one of the shittiest parts about Weiss competitive play is that there is no like single players that you can like look at and be like, oh, I want to follow the storyline of this player. He like kind of uh like Machine King Prime, if you guys ever remember StarCraft 2, he always got second place at every event he went to, and it was finally the day he finally got first place and won his first event. It was like the most hypest thing ever. We don't get shit like that in Weiss. And like other fighting games, other card games, I feel like I get that. Like MTG, I get that a lot because there's a lot of player coverage by Wizards themselves as well as other players and stuff like that.
Were
But
they
I,
trying to do
It's
that
the
more this
sheer
year?
number of events, right? Weiss
Yeah.
has a singular large event every year,
yeah.
so it makes it hard
Well,
to have these things.
they did do more this year though. Like right,
Mhm.
they had like the little player profiles where people like.
Wait, what?
Like everyone had like these like cringy pictures where they're like holding cards up and like stuff, and they had like the
Oh,
player
yeah.
profiles, right? Like so, like you got to like see these players and be like, oh, that guy's gonna be at Worlds, right? So I like that. I like that.
I like that too. I wish whoever's a community manager at Bushiroad USA right now or Singapore or whatever, I wish they would do a lot more like player spotlights like that at events. Like especially it should be very easy to like immediately after an event, first place winner, like do a quick interview, have like 5 questions lined up to ask them and record it with them holding their trophy and how hyped they are to go to Worlds, and that's it. Like simple stuff like that would be pretty cool, right? And like official recaps by the Bushiroad Weiss channels and stuff like that would be like, oh, this was the top 8 breakdown. These were the players in it, and so, a little bit about each player, and like so and so beat so and so in whatever way, and then to win it all. Like little things like that, I think the community are completely missing out on.
It's also Weiss is a lot less hype than fighting games, so
Absolutely. But I mean, like other card games do this like very well compared to Weiss. I think I'm not super into the Vanguard community, but from the little I get peeked into all the time through Facebook and the other players I interact from that play Vanguard and don't play Weiss, it seems like the their community does a better job of doing like player spotlights and talking about more, and they're more open with like different players than Weiss is. I don't know what like caused that to be where Weiss is just like no one really cares about the players or anything, really, but like Vanguard and other card games do. I just find that very fascinating that
Yep,
this game is built like
they
this.
have terrible like social media presence, like Alex said. They have like
Don't
zero
don't
advertisement for the
worry,
game.
we're gonna get to that
Oh.
poll pretty soon.
Oh, you know what was insane is have you actually looked at the Weiss Schwarz like YouTube for like the
No.
advertisements? Okay, the products are really funny because at a certain point they stop advertising, and you'll have like Hololive at like 100,000 views, like right, and like Quint's 100,000, like Don Machi 100,000 views, 70,000, like somewhere in that. And then they clearly stopped running the ads because then their new videos are sitting at like 300. And I'm not even joking, the official Weiss YouTube goes from 70,000 views a video to 300. And in like, this is for multiple months where they clearly said, we fucking don't care anymore.
Right. And it's just like they don't even push their game. It's so easy to make like regular Facebook posts, regular Twitter posts, social media posts.
They do post on Twitter and stuff, but they don't do like a lot. Like
Consistent. They need consistent presence every single day or every however many hours. It's just like they don't care about pushing the game. They're not like expanding their reach of players to outside of the current player base, and they're relying on word of mouth to get new players to the game.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a thing that's like a disconnect that Singapore office gets like control of everything, and so they don't know, like maybe they're only influenced by things that are happening in Singapore. So maybe things in Singapore are way different compared to like Europe and North America. But I can tell you for a fact that North America is getting basically screwed over, and so is Europe. So, well, yeah. Anything else we want to talk about on that? Otherwise, we can move to the next poll.
We can go to the next one.
All right. So the next one was: do you think teams format for Weiss is a competitive, competitive or less competitive than singles? This one was, I think this was about what I felt the community was gonna answer. So I had three choices here. One was as competitive, which came out to 64%, and then less competitive, which was 33%, and then more competitive, which was 3%. So I assume that's like one person voted. I didn't check out of 154 votes. I think this was about how I thought most people would have this breakdown. Personally, I think teams is just as competitive. It's a little different, but I think it's as competitive singles. What do you guys say?
I love teams compared to singles. I think it's I love that the format is like a little more diverse. But like you still have like the top decks. It's just not like
Is it diverse?
Yeah,
I think the format narrows in trios.
No, not even close.
Or you're forced to play different.
Yeah,
like slightly worse sets.
It's like the fake diversity, but it's still different than like normal single
player.
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot bigger to like metagame for too because of that. And then like the thing that is the greatest thing is that it allows like actual. I know me and Kit had like close to 80% win rate in teams, but the problem is that 80% win rate literally does not converge into a top end Weiss. That's the fucking disgusting thing. Is if I have an 80% win rate, that means I'm losing 2 games out of every 10. And that means that if I go to a regional that's 7 rounds before top cut and I lose 1 game, which is what's expected, I might not top. I might get 9th. And that's the big problem is like the being able to account for that as long as like your teammates are like equally as skilled, you converge like a lot like a much higher ratio because of that. So it's like definitely a more consistent format for like good players versus like singles where like 80% win rate means you just don't top 8. Sorry, you lost a game. Or like even if you lose 2 games.
I love 7-round formats where you go 7-1 and then you go 6-1 and then you don't top.
Yeah, and really it's like cool. Insane. Or like you like because like a 7-2 record is not topping, right? Like it's like X2s don't top, and it's just
6-2s, like 6-2.
6-2 doesn't top. It's like shit like that. It's like your win rate can be like extremely high and consistent, but like you don't get that many regionals in a year. Like if you travel to all of them, 6. Mm-hmm. You get 6 regionals in a year.
And like at least in the US, each regional is a minimum like $300 commitment, which is not feasible for a lot of people.
Yeah. That's the problem too. Is like even for me, I live 3 hours from Chicago, but then Atlanta's a 9.5 hour drive or a $300 flight. Toronto's an 11 hour drive. New York is like an 11 hour drive. These are drives I'm willing to make because it's a little cheaper than flying, but it's still it's still expensive. It's a huge time commitment. Um, it's like we're very spread out. We don't have a lot. Like right, Pokemon. There's a locals or there's like 4 tournaments a year within a 3 hour drive of me. So it's like
Yeah.
other card games. It's much easier to go to regionals. While like Weiss, it's a huge time commitment for most people to get to even one, and then 80% win rate's not enough to top most games. So it's like teams is like the only time you actually see the good players like topping consistently. I think.
Yeah, I mean it's like a fake best of 3 format. So but yeah. All right. Well, the next question I had on there is mono character format, aka waifu, a competitive format. Surprisingly, 95% said no, it's a meme format essentially, and then 5% said yes, it's competitive.
Is that surprising?
That would have been like I
I
think that was a question for 3 years ago.
maybe yeah, but honestly, with the way some people act, I legit thought this would be a lot closer.
Oh yeah, the some of the
I
people.
Yeah, because like I bring up like questions like, hey, if this is just like a fun format, why did we have to follow the ban list? That before I asked like, do you think waifu as a format where you have like only one character in your deck, do you think are you still forced to follow the neo standard ban list because technically we have completely different deck construction rules than normal, and everyone was like, no, you have to follow the ban list, otherwise the format will be broken. But then in this poll, everyone's like, no, the format is like a joke fun format, right? So that's why I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any input on that. Otherwise, we can go to the next one.
Not really. I mean, waifu's been was never supposed to be like a competitive format, and then like has been way worse since.
Yeah. Oh, this next one I'm gonna skip because it was just more of a meme joke. This one here. Are you satisfied with how Bushiro promotes English Weiss Schwarz to people outside of the general Weiss Schwarz community? The
Absolutely
examples
not.
I gave were commercial live stream, con booths, pop up shops, etc. like that.
No.
Essentially, it was an oversounding. They are doing meh to fucking horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Alex Hodge is out here saying $1,000 he would get them 1,000,000 views.
yeah, okay. So unironically, I don't know what kind of advertising budget Bougeroad has. I assume it's like almost zero for Weiss at this point because it costs nothing to get a lot of views on YouTube,
Yeah.
as especially as like a short commercial to be played before things.
Or like
And like
sometimes seeing like ads on like my anime list. That's all I see. Always.
I haven't seen a Weiss ad in a long time. I
I
think
don't
I've
have
seen,
I have ad blocker, so I don't see a Weiss ad. How am I
but
supposed to see it?
yeah. So I don't know exactly what they're doing outside of like because I do know they do go to cons occasionally and stuff like that. Obviously they have live streams, but usually live streams are more focused towards the community than getting like new players involved and let people know
Yeah.
about the game. I don't even know what Bouchard. Okay, I'm gonna say I don't know what Bouchard could do to like improve this. Obviously, if they do anything, it's a big improvement than what they're doing now. Obviously, but I mean like, um, what would you guys like to see Bouchard to do to like even bolster the community at all more of the game, like getting the game out there? Like, are we just like looking for them to run actual ads again on YouTube or something,
I don't know if
or
ads even do anything is the big problem. I don't know like how
ad
much these things do.
ads have a good conversion rate in general
I think you
on
need to pay Rudy to do another video on Weiss.
right?
Let's be honest, like he was more successful than they've ever been.
Yeah, it's more about ads are
Should have
very
sent him a
good.
playmat.
Ads are very good for just getting it out there because there's a lot of people who don't even know this game exists who would totally
That
try
is
it
a
or
thing.
play it. And the fact that people just don't know it exists and it's been a game for over 10 years. Like how are we still having people who have like literally zero idea that card game exists and some of these people are in card game communities, right? That's so absurd to me.
Some of them go to the locals where there's booster boxes on the shelf, and they're like, "Oh, I've heard about that. I didn't know it had players or that it existed." It's like, I think that was the Pokemon player at like the locals in Indy, who was like, "I didn't know that people played." I'm like, "Bro, your game is at the same time as ours." Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's really weird.
I don't know what they're
Anything else?
supposed to do. I don't know how you convert people. I think it's just like a hard sell. I think that you need. I legitimately think you need less waifus. If I'm being honest, I think you need like more sets like Guilty Gear or like Batman. I think Batman like is thematically what Weiss is missing for pulling in the average Joe. Because there is a lot of card game players that like anime, but they're not the kind of people that want to see that the Chainsaw Man set has one Chainsaw Man card and 15 Maki or 50 whatever her name is. Like, right? It's like the way that sets are produced is like very Coomer bait, to be honest. And English exclusives have been pretty good. We've had like Mob, Adventure Time. We have like sets that are you could show to a person and they go, "Oh, that's cool." But some of the Japanese sets is like it's like stuff is like very lopsided. Like, right? It's very clear. That it is like literally Coomer bait, and that's like off-putting for some casual players.
Until recently, we got Marvel, Star Wars, Disney 101, or Disney 100.
But those aren't the sets that people are buying in America, right? Like these aren't the sets that Americans. Yeah, those are funny ones that are in Japanese, which is inherently a roadblock to getting more players as well, is having Japanese locals.
Yeah, the aesthetic of Weiss is always going to be an issue. Like any card game that's like built off of like being anime, essentially.
But you can
anime
do
waifu
better.
bait.
You can
Yeah,
do
you
better,
can.
and
That's-
English has been doing better. I'm 100% saying that things like Batman is good. Things
That's
like
the goal of Weiss Blau. Blau appeals to everything that Weiss doesn't.
no, Blau is like the opposite. It's like
Blau's a dead game.
Fujo bait. It's the opposite direction. It's just as bad, but in a different way. I think that like you could have like more things, but like Sword Art, right? Sword Art's about Kirito, and usually when a Sword Art set comes out, Kirito gets like 3 cards, and then Asuna gets like 40. And so
but at least Kirito get double R's. Look at ReZero. Subaru doesn't even have a double R.
yeah, like that's
Yes, he
another thing.
does.
Wait, he does?
Okay,
He does.
they're not good though.
It is not good, but that's not the point.
But the point is that like it's very like the tough sale is like the IPs that they're coming out with. Like they need to have they like some like just a little more variety, I think. And then when the sets do come out, like maybe not have every set just be like all like 890 girl cards and then like 10 guys. Because I think I've noticed that is like the biggest hurdle for a lot of people. Is I'll get somebody in that's like plays Magic, they'll buy Adventure Time, they're like, "Oh, Adventure Time's cool," and then it's like they start looking at the other sets, like I don't want any of this. Like I don't want any of this.
Yeah, and I think the issue too is like even as far as like you saying it's Coomer bait. Also, well, let's be real, it's Coomer bait specifically for like straight men and like lesbians or bi people. Like there are gay people who play Weiss who would love hot men, right, on cards.
That
So like
want
it's weird.
that want the JoJo cards.
Exactly, but it Weiss is very catered towards the male otaku, like
Which is fine. I'm
Uber
like fine. I mean,
demographic.
I'm a weeb. Like some of that stuff's
Yeah.
fine, but like it's when it's like every set, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Early on in Weiss's history, there was a lot more like video game stuff where they had like a
King
lot
of
of like
Fighters, insane.
King of Fighters stuff, Disgaea and stuff like that. That wasn't just like strictly like Coomer bait, essentially. God, I hate saying that. This is
But
Coomer bait.
it's honest. Let's be honest.
In a way, it is kind of because obviously in Japan that's what sells. Like big anime waifu lovers out there who love the characters' personalities a lot will buy into this game, even if they don't play it just to collect the cards, because that's what the like otaku culture is like out there when it comes to like collecting shit. But
Yep.
yeah. All right. The last poll I had was before I was bullied off of Global for making these polls. If tomorrow Bushiroad announced all future Weiss sets will be released in both English and Japanese on the same date with no changes to signatures or card effects, would you continue to buy the Japanese version of cards? And I obviously had three answers here. I had either I'd buy English only, I'd buy Japanese only, or buy both still or whatever. 79% said they'd after if that was to change, they'd buy English only moving forward. Then there was 10% that was only going to buy Japanese, and then 11% was going to buy both still. My only flaw in this question was I should have made it very clear this was like targeted towards people who play English Weiss and are in Western speaking hemispheres essentially. Because obviously if you're in Japan, you're going to still buy Japanese or only buy Japanese because that's what you play out there. But yeah, I think this was about how I thought the poll was gonna.
I think it's
come out
funny that
too.
there are people that are like, I will not buy English cards.
Yay! That's why I'm saying that my only issue with this poll is that I kind of fucked up on the exact question is because I should have made it very clear that this is mostly for only English speaking regions, and if you're buying Japanese because you live in Japan and that's the only supported format, then obviously that makes sense. You're only going to be buy Japanese, right? But at the same time, I don't know if the people that voted for I'd buy Japanese only. Let me look really quick.
How many of them are Americans?
Yeah, actually, a lot of these people are Americans because I recognize
See,
a lot.
what is that? That legitimately does not make sense. It's like people who refuse to watch dubs.
Okay,
Fuck
okay, dubs are miserable. Okay, Dean, it is not like dubs. The biggest reason I would buy a Japanese set is for the foils. I think English foil just look terrible.
I can agree on some of the foilings and stuff,
What?
but like that's why I included in this that when they printed these cards, there'd be no changes to the signatures or cards, essentially, right?
Wait. Do the foils look worse in English?
The type of foiling they use in English is slightly different than the Japanese.
Well,
Like
I'm
the
gonna have to
foiling,
pull out
it
my
looks
binders. I got a lot of
yeah,
foils.
the foiling looks a lot more plasticky and cheap in English. And so I dislike the way it looks.
Does it?
But yeah,
I don't know.
it does a little bit. Oh my god, did I have Marvel Snap open this entire? But yeah, that concludes my polls until I was bullied off. If you guys want me to do more like discussion polls like this in the future, I'll do it, and then we could talk about it again on stream. But yeah, I might do some in the future if people enjoy this. I just when it comes to like the global group and stuff like that, no one discusses shit in there, and so I
No,
was just
it's
like trying
wanting
to.
to buy,
I
wanting
was
to
just
sell.
yeah.
Speaking of
I was
wanting
just
to
trying
buy,
to shut the fuck up.
Milky SP.
Oh my god. But I was just trying to create conversation in there, but a couple people were very offended that I would make these polls, and they were assholes to me. So I was just like, fuck it, if the community's not gonna be nice, I don't even give a shit about Weiss community then. But yeah, I think that wraps up everything I have. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, probably next podcast will be post Toronto. Not really a lot going on before then, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll have a short one before or something.
I hope
when
to
is it?
come back with a medal around my neck.
Yeah, you get that silver or that bronze medal.
As
The Weiss baby.
long as the deck goes on the website, I consider that a W. If the deck's not on the website, it's not a W.
I also wish there was something more on trios rather than just the singular Springfest tournament.
I don't like. You know what I hate? You know what I hate is that top 3 is where the playmat goes instead of top 4. Oh my god, it already feels bad when you don't get your name and you don't get the medal, but now you don't get the Shioko mat, which is awful because I know you guys say nobody plays Weiss for Shioko. I play Weiss for Shioko, okay?
Yeah.
So, the top 3 instead of top 4 mat's a little cringe.
Dude. Was that one year where it was me, you, and Nico, and we topped 8 every team's regional?
That's 2019.
But but then for whatever dumb reason, we just every time we topped 8, we'd lose round 1 of top 8.
No, we only did that twice. We did that in.
Was it only twice?
Yeah. Because we ended.
Okay.
we ended with 3, 2 second places and a third place, and
Okay, and
we
then 2 top 8s,
yeah,
right?
our 2 top 8s
Okay.
were Chicago, where we fought Clinton's team, and you guys dropped, and I went undefeated, and Atlanta, where I got
West.
stock swap for 3, and he hit 2 climaxes on a fresh deck. I was post refresh, fresh deck, stock swap for 3. He said I felt it, and then I die because he hit 2 climaxes in the top 3.
I remember my match. I remember I was really sad. My Atlanta match was like, I was like, okay, sick. All his, I lost against Card Captain Sakura that year. My fucking Card Captain Sakura, specifically the build that I knew was the worst build. I would always eat shit to it. I don't know why.
It's too
I was
strong.
just cursed.
It's too good.
It was too strong. Obviously, I was wrong, and my opponents were like fucking cracked at those events. I remember being like, okay, all their Musashis and their burns are in their waiting room. The set has no way to fucking grab it, right? Fucker plays the world's promo, and I go, no. And then he pays 2 to salvage the Musashi, and then proceeds to count how many triggers were left in his deck to figure out if he could side attack for the game. And I was like, no, this guy is actually doing the thing that he's supposed to do. And then he sided for 1, and I lost.
Not like
And
me. Not like my opponent in Toronto top.
Your opponent Toronto
When he
top
goes
4 is
side.
difficult.
No thoughts. No thoughts. Side for
No
0.
thoughts, head empty, side for 0. When you were at 3-6.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
It was because the heal that you would get off of the front attack didn't matter. It would still kill you.
That was a good game.
Yeah, dude. I remember Nico and I were behind you, and we're like, "Well, time to pack it up, Nico. Let's go home. We're going home early this time." Oh, that was a good event. Oh man. But yeah, do we have anything else Weiss related to talk about?
Not really, but
Okay.
definitely
On to
check
what
out.
really matters. Fucking go to our Shadowverse Evolve channel right now and subscribe to it.
I plan
all of
on
you right now.
doing some more stuff for that, and then also I think I amended the our defaults on the description. So also
Oh,
link
I was
myself.
yeah. I wait on this channel or the Shadowverse Evolve
This channel.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I need to update the Shadowverse Evolve channel too for all our videos.
Yeah.
Because all I've been doing is putting the tags in.
Because
I'm gonna
I've
update it so
started
it's
doing
clickable.
digital. I'm gonna start doing digital again on my personal channel, and then Burn One will have a Shadowverse Evolve channel, and we'll try to like upload it. You know, keep it spread out. So like right now for this channel, the main thing that I'm uploading is me Mondays, and we'll be doing tournament reports. I hope to. I want to like come up with some other content for Weiss. It's just really hard. Like maybe a camera at my locals, but there was a locals.
Locals pain. But yeah. Also, is this gonna fuck up my shit? Here you go. I'm gonna just drop this in chat right now. This is our Shadowverse Evolve channel. Go subscribe to it if you're interested in Shadowverse Evolve. We released a review of all the starter decks, and tomorrow will be the last video on the set 1 review. So if you guys want to get like ahead of the curve for Shadowverse Evolve, check it out. We go through all the cards and we just talk about them and how we expect them to be played and everything. And Dean and Ellis, which is our third dude over there, working on content with us for Shadowverse Evolve. I have some experience, but I mostly started playing when set 2 dropped with Dean, and I only played a little bit then. But Ellis and Dean definitely have a lot more play testing in general for the game.
Barely.
So yeah, barely, but hopefully our insight will help you like look at things and stuff like that. And I think we have a couple after this comes out. I think I might try to do, because we did get asked this, Dean, is some people wanted like example like decks to start off try playing or building for like decks, and like just have it there and we just talk about it a little bit or whatever. Just so people have a jumping off point. Like
yeah, yeah, we can do that like whenever. I think that like the closer to the release it is, the better. I think that's like maybe not released too early.
Yeah.
But I got some ideas for skits. I've got some good ones. And Kit wants to do a let's play or like a tutorial.
A let's play, yes. No, yeah. Try to get a tutorial set up there. I'll probably start writing a script or something for it soon. It's just tough because I don't have the actual physical cards in front of me, so I think I'll have to do it digitally, which will be kind of weird.
I feel like digital is better for tutorial.
Yeah, probably.
I had my hand. I had like the camera and like on a playmat, and I was not happy with the product. You know, we all can't be Alex Hodges with his how to play Weiss Schwarz IGN 100K view video. You know.
Yeah.
My only concern with doing anything digital is some potential copyright issues if it ever gets taken down, things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not because we don't have 1,000 subscribers on the other channel. It's all unmonetized, so anything.
Mhm.
Even
there,
then,
so,
no. Like, are
Yeah.
you talking about like digital pictures of the cards? There's no way. Cygames pushes the content creation like very hard.
Okay. That's good then. I know certain
I'm free.
Weiss companies don't want it.
Oh.
You're here at the end. It's been the entire. Oh, you're also
yeah.
much louder than everyone else. Holy shit! Give me.
Oh, sorry.
You got to join our whereby. Everyone needs to see your beautiful face.
There we
and then
go.
Oh
can
no, I actually just turned my camera off because we just finished our D&D session.
Don't worry.
Damn you.
Yeah, we're at the end now. We had a pretty good stream.
Oh, sorry. I tuned in a little bit during my off turns where I wasn't in combat, but hard to tune in during our D&D
No, yeah.
sessions on Monday.
You should, if you just roll one more often and then you have your character die, then you have a lot of time while you sit there.
We're playing Starfinder, and I'm the tank, so I'm the one who doesn't die. So it's a little rough.
In Weiss, JP channels have to censor Disney cards. Wait, really? Is that a thing? I haven't watched a lot of JP content recently that was Weiss related.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, if that's true, that's actually ridiculous. What the fuck?
That is
Disney?
pretty funny.
Oh man. But yeah.
No, people
Zoo
said
weight.
that gain. I want you to know Carmen's on like 70% and Kid is on 150%. 160%.
Hell yeah. I'm so
You
loud.
probably
I need
need
to
to
get
get a
a
little closer.
better. I need to get a much better
Or
mic
turn up
setup.
the gain.
I have had multiple people tell me that I blow out the mic on set reviews.
Have you
stuff.
tried moving the gain down? There's like this knob. See, like you can see it here on the back, and it's near the bottom for me.
That's really funny on the censoring on the censoring Disney cards and Pixar cards. That's fucking hilarious.
Was it? What do you
I'm
have?
too stupid for that stuff, Dean. I just need to buy a better, higher quality microphone. I'll just use money to fix my
This
problem.
microphone was like $90. It was pretty good.
Oh, I don't have a standalone microphone. It's part of my headset, dude.
Oh,
That-
no wonder.
What headset do you
Wrong.
have, Carmen?
Oh, I have an Audio Technica. It's a better than normal one, which is why I've gotten away with this so long.
What's it called? Is it a detachable aux cable for the mic?
No.
Oh, you have a shit headphone.
It's a higher quality Audio Technica. It's better than normal.
If it
But
has a
it's not very
built-in
good.
headphone, it's not high quality.
Well, I have a dedicated sound card. That helps a little bit.
Whoever just subscribed to the Shadowverse Evolve channel, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you guys want any of Carmen's opinions on anything we went over? You guys have any?
Carmen, do
Nobody
you
cares
think?
what I think.
Do you think that Weiss Schwarz is going to kill local scenes by printing 2 sets a month in English?
I do think it's. I was actually prepping for our tier list and retrospective recording
It's
very
our
soon.
video now. Quick. Give us
And I was looking at just the number of sets that are currently announced for 2020, and it is not only more than the last 2 years, but also there are less dead on arrival sets. There are only two or three that I could even remotely consider to be DOA, as in like I'm talking like Psychon of set 1. You know what I mean?
Right.
I do think it's a little rough.
Wait, so
to
you're
have
saying
that
that in the
many
past,
sets.
in the past you had less dead on arrival sets, or in the?
No, in this upcoming year, there are less dead on arrival sets, so therefore there are more things more people care about.
I
It's not
think it's
counting
like
the ones from last year,
16.
though.
I
Like
don't even believe you. Wait, do I? Maybe.
Well, from what I remember, there's like 2 Dead on Arrival sets, like Josiah and Rebu, right?
Grisaya, Revu, the
I
power up
wouldn't
sets is eating
consider.
a slot. Those
I
are
don't
real
consider
sets.
Grisaya to be a down.
So
Psychono
it's
2 as
just
well.
Rev.
Psychono 2 is not real. Let's be honest.
Psychono 2 isn't Dead on Arrival. The only Dead on Arrival sets are Power Up Set, Review, and that's about it.
Carmen out here
2023.
won't touch Adventure Time, but then will tell me that Psychono 2 is going to be a functional set.
I'd rather play Psychono than play anything in Adventure Time, gonna be honest.
Right, but hot take. Haruhi is as good as Grisaya.
A little bit too hot for me.
Oh wait, we have unbanned Haruhi, right?
We also
We
have
do.
on the channel a video of 2023 support Log Horizon at full power. If anyone wants to see that, it's got some
Wait,
fierce.
did Lock Horizon get printed too in English? The power up?
Yes.
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 Really?
We
Oh
got
my
all
God.
3.
Yeah, did you order those
Oh.
for me?
I don't remember what I ordered, dude. You just
Damn.
tell me and I send an email off and I forget about it till I get an invoice.
Yeah. 2023 support Log Horizon. We have a video showing what it can do. It's a
What the
pretty fierce
fuck?
set. I think it's a real meta contender.
God,
My
man,
dream.
Done.
Okay, I'm gonna say this because like I'm not strong enough to. My dream was for like to have 3 people show up to a regional with the on the wherever the power up sets are the newest set, and all 3 people are playing the new power up sets, and then they call other people's decks old, and they tell the people they got the new hotness.
Oh, you can make that happen, you know?
I have a obligation to take W's. I can only bring.
Wait, I don't see a problem.
I can
then.
only bring so shitty of a deck, and also I myself am the only person I could convince to do that on the team.
Convince your
You
teammates for
couldn't.
Toronto.
You couldn't pay me to go to an event to play one of those.
To
I
be fair,
don't think I could either.
I think it would be really funny to do kill a kill, and like people will just forget about the anti heal, and then
they
they'll heal,
die.
and then you're like, okay, take 4, and they're like, oh wait, what? And then they try to take it back. I'll call a judge. I would call a judge immediately. I was like, they did the May ability. They moved the card over. They have to.
Sure,
resolve
we
this.
don't actually have a lot of floodgates in like English Weiss at all. So like anti-heal would be a thing that you could probably rule shark. Honestly,
Yeah.
I almost considered Dragon Maid just for the sole purpose you could probably rule shark the shit out of people with the Fafnir Brainstorm.
The Vafnir, yeah.
Oh my god.
That's the strongest card because your opponent's just gonna put a card in front of your card and then go, oh no.
That card's one of the only reasons to be playing Dragon Maid.
But not even because it's good, it's just because your opponent's hopefully bad.
It helps the deck because you need reverses, so you might as well play it. But I don't know what else you guys talk about.
Polls.
Chime in the 11th hour. The polls, yeah, I thought the polls were fun.
Yeah, until I was bullied away from
Pauper
doing the
Highlander Standard, we need to have a Burned 1 event for.
Well, you made too many too fast, so people put on their tinfoil hats and came up with alternative. You know.
Oh yeah, motives. Yeah.
All your
You're right.
alternative motives for.
I was secretly just trying to
for-
make you upset. Whoever was upset at me making polls. But
Yeah. I thought they got some good discussion.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. Like the global community is like basically dead as far as discussion goes. So I was like, I was bored, and I thought of like random things occasionally. I was like, I'm gonna just make this a poll right now because I'll forget later if I don't, and just to see what people think, right? And so we got some discussion going. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought they were fun.
Yeah.
And you talk about everything. Talk about the mats. Did the mats come up?
I said that you should send one to Rudy because if anyone's done anything for this game more than anyone else, it's probably been Rudy.
Absolutely.
I don't care too much about the mats. I just switch. I know it's probably like a recent bias thing. People have been in contact with them more recently. It just sucks when people like Avis or Kevin don't get recognized.
I
put
wonder
in a lot of
how
work.
much is it that they reach out to Bushiroad personally versus Kevin and Avis don't?
Yeah, I mean it's more of just it's a recency bias of who's worked with them.
I don't even
But I
think
mean, like, it doesn't
I
matter.
know,
Like, I
but
mean,
like, cause
people.
like
I'm not
what I'm
saying the
saying
people
is,
that didn't get the match, like,
Mhm.
that got the match deserve it. They obviously deserve it. It's just like there are people that also deserve it that don't.
yeah, no, but
Yeah.
what I'm wondering is, did these people who got it reach out to Bushiroad at all? Was it like
This is
unsolicited
okay. This is
playmats
my
or
tinfoil
not?
hat, Dan. On it is the people
Mhm.
who got it are the people who are closest to the English Boucher office, and probably interact with some people who work there consistently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
if you don't have
because
any contact with Bushiroad, there's no way they're just gonna randomly reach out to like a 200 view channel
oh,
or like a 1,000 view channel.
they fucking don't. Because
Yeah, they don't.
I have direct contacts with Boucher. A lot of them have left already. And like I send them things, and like even the people are like, I don't know if I can even do anything about X, Y, or Z because like that's not my department or anything like that. And
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a big
so
company.
yeah,
Like, I don't really fault them for it. I mean, we talked about this earlier, one of
yeah.
the community discords today, and like, it's just
It
kind of
it it's one of those things where I think like if you're actually wired into the community, um, you know immediately that the people who are sending these mats out and stuff like that and
Mhm.
getting people into these events or whatever, you know for a fact these people aren't actually a part of the community and they've only like either tangentially like been exposed or they just heard from someone else like yeah this person's cool or whatever.
StockSwap sent me the video kit here. I'll DM it to you. This is really funny. Or wait, Dean, you're streaming, right?
Oh, what am I supposed to
Using
do?
stream.
This is really funny. They like censoring the card art, like when they, you know how Flame Insanity pulls up the card art
Oh,
like
I
during
see. I
their
see.
gameplays.
It's
That is
like a
really
jab.
fucking funny. Thank you for sending that. That is hilarious. That is really, really funny.
Jesus.
The giant Ratatouille card just blanked out. Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, I bet it would get their videos content ID'd if they left it up.
Jesus Christ, that's loud. Also, I think I have to swap what screen I'm grabbing. That's too much work.
Team.
Here's
immediately
the
goes up.
video. I'll post it in chat if people want to go.
Yeah,
That is very funny.
look.
I don't know what else. What else happened in the Weiss Schwarz world recently?
Weiss Schwarz. That's about it, right?
Did we talk about the meta being stale already?
That's
I said
every-
that the meta is like really awful to crack as a person who actually wants to top with.
Well, it's
Shit.
trios, so you don't have to worry about cracking the meta. You bring
No,
something good
you
enough.
do. Okay, here's the thing, Carmen.
You can't crack the meta when you have when your target has a 66% lower chance of appearing.
No, because there's like two decks that I think is going to be like 80% of 80% of teams will be on two different decks, and I do think that's
Why? You think it's Quince and Hololive?
Yeah.
I tuned in briefly. I don't know if it's Quince and Hololive. I think it's Quince. I think a lot of people are down on Hololive recently.
I think it doesn't matter
Weird.
what people own. It's definitely more popular than 7 Deadly Sins. AOT is like the maybe, but like
SDS is like the new kid on the block. I think SDS being a deck
too low supply. Too low supply.
You think so?
Oh, too low supply. You cannot buy Escanors on TCG Player.
It's like that's just a deck that doesn't care about what's in front of it,
But
which
you
is
have
like
to, like,
very
it's-
appealing to
It's
people.
way harder to get is the problem, so it's not real.
It's really good at ignoring Quince. I think that's why it was that was my theory as to why it showed up at Springfest. Like, not only is it new, you get to capitalize on the new factor, and then also like I think it quote unquote answers Quince by not caring, and coincidentally playing a 2/1 that kind of runs over the 1/1. They lose a little bit of early game steam, and then also 7 Deadly Sins would play that card even if Quince didn't exist for that deck. So like it doesn't really matter. They just spin their wheels and try to kill you. So like the fact that the deck just ignores
Too new. Or
the deck that's trying to interact the most. Is Quince trying to interact the most? I don't know.
But Carmen, you look at Rudy, and he did the thing on like the production supplies, right? It's like Hololive in his area has shipped out like over 300 cases, 300 to 400 cases. 7 Deadly Sins shipped out 70. It's the amount of supply is a fifth of like what other sets are.
And
I
get that.
That's
huge.
That
number does not account for supplies being open. Like I feel like every single 7 Deadly case was open versus what was it, Quinter Hotline that you just said? I don't think every single case was open.
But the production was still unbelievably like minuscule comparatively. Like we're talking like 20% production compared to like other sets, and we're seeing it on TCG Player. Go find the cards, like right. They
They're
just don't
there.
exist.
What do you mean they don't exist? I can buy that scores literally right now.
Can one person buy Escanors? Is that the way TCG
One,
players?
two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies right now.
Seven,
Not counting
two
strictly
people,
broke.
two people.
Strictly broken TCG. Let's take a look. I haven't looked there yet. What was it set called? Seven Deadly Sins. Set Revival of the Commandments. They have infinite soft. Let me see how many I can add.
Okay, I didn't know about Strictly Broken. I forgot they were a website, to be honest. Since they have not stayed competitive, like price wise, with TCG Player,
They're pretty competitive. I don't know what you're saying. Escanor's the same price.
Escanor specifically, which is a fringe case scenario.
Most things are relatively same, plus or minus a couple dollars.
Plus or minus a couple dollars on a 50-cent card is quite absurd.
Surprised Kage is so expensive.
All right. All I know is I'm able to add 34 copies to my card right now, and I'm still going on Escanor.
So I guess Escanor is something you could buy, but I do think that compared to other things in the same price category.
I wonder if I can change this to 65. They have 53 copies.
What, on Strictly?
On Strictly
Yeah.
Broken. Plus 7.
How much is it on Strictly? Like $20 a copy?
18 USD, I think.
18?
18. Plus 7 copies on TCG Player.
Still more
makes
expensive
for
than
a
their
total
sets.
of 15 play sets.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It means the card's out there.
I mean, you look at Mario, I see how much all I was open, see how expensive Mario is now.
Yeah, Marine being $20-$25 is insane to me.
It's 30.
Really?
At least
Damn.
I would have checked like a couple days ago.
I guess, yeah. That card is
Marine.
Marine is patently absurd. Card is
is
How did Hotline
okay.
become
She
so
dropped to 25
expensive?
USD.
There's like infinite decks, but they all converge on one card. So that's
And
why.
then see, but the thing is, Marine is actually like fucking out of stock everywhere. There are 8 copies on TCG, and I'm pretty sure it's strictly sold out on them.
But like everything else in Hololive is not that much.
Yep, everything else is like 4 or 5.
pretty dirt.
Max. Do people usually bring cards from the newest attorneys?
Oh, yeah. That's a thing in every game.
Yeah, everyone always wants to play with their new shiny toys, even if the cards that are released are worse. People will still show up.
It's
with
also
those cards.
easier when the new shinier set is compatible with every other set.
True.
It's also, I think in Weiss it strikes you harder because it's like Neo Standard. You only play the. So if it's a new IP, it's like a whole new deck. You know what I mean? It's not like a new archetype where they're mixing it with another archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's like 20 of the same cards that you already know. Maybe 12 new ones. Like 8 staples.
Yeah.
It's a little different. In Weiss, you see like a whole new deck. Even if more than half the deck is events that, well, not events, just like profiles you've seen before in every other set.
Yeah, I mean, like one thing to note on that too is like recently in Marvel Snap a new card was released, a new like season pass card, and I think most of the community generally was like, yeah, this card is pretty niche to like mediocre, and like literally the first week everyone was still playing that card. So like every other game I played was the playing the new Modok deck, even though all the content creators and all the top players were like, yeah, this deck is functional, but it's not as good compared to the other meta decks, like the old meta decks that were winning last season essentially. So like people will still, even if it's not as good, will show up and play with new cards because new shiny toy. That's what it is. What it comes down to at the end of the day. All right. Do we have anything else going on, or
No, we just had the surprise
surprise
additions.
guest? Wrong. All right. We're gonna close this out now, or plan?
Yeah. I think we
Yep.
talked
Sorry
about
for
a lot.
extending it by 25 minutes.
It's all good.
No problem.
Yeah, so everyone out there, go subscribe to our other channel. Go subscribe to my channel for digital. Go subscribe to whatever Kit's uploading Marvel Snap if he is.
Oh, I have stuff in the works, but I haven't done the channel or anything
Okay,
yet, so don't
so
worry
don't
about it.
subscribe to Marvel Snap. I guess the game is dead.
Game absolutely dead.
Yeah, check out the Meme Mondays. I do enjoy those. I wish the viewer count would be higher. Check those out.
XD.
They're called Meme Mondays, but they're not entirely like we're not always playing bad sets. It's more of the fact that like I don't have to fish for a good game. It's just called Meme Mondays.
Yeah, that's one thing you were doing before whenever you try to do these videos, right? Was like you wanted to make sure like both players had a good game.
But you sit down and you're like, I want to
Impossible, man.
show this deck, and then it's like, bro, this Vivid Strike game that I uploaded today, there are 3 gold bars in my clock at level 0. Like those are the kind of games I get if I'm not doing retakes.
Really strong. I like it.
So, but it's like right. It's like when you're trying to like show off a deck, it's like you don't want to have those games. So you go, okay, sit down, and then there's a 30-minute game. You're like, okay, that game was pretty bad. We have to do another 30-minute game of Weiss. It's easier to just call it a Meme Monday, just one take. Whatever happens, happens. Any shout outs for Kit and Carbon and all of them?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
No shout outs at the end?
Nope.
Should
Should be at locals this weekend.
Haru's
though,
Custom
for
Corner.
Weiss in
Ooh, he's
SoCal.
got to get to my set.
Yeah.
The hot new content that everyone loves. I was surprised at how much people are digging it. I knew that it was going to be successful when Paru came and said he wanted to do it, because nobody talks about custom cards. There are a lot of people who like that. But the response has been very, very good. Paru is super psyched doing it. New one, we have he has Connor on from Connor's English Corner. Got a corner collab.
My favorite.
And that's going to be coming out soon, probably next week. But he's still got a lot of stuff in the chamber. People keep sending him stuff. He said that he literally can't go a day without getting like 2 new things sent to him.
Good thing I got
minimum.
somewhat early.
So he's got a massive backlog. But people love that shit.
Unrelated, I'll probably be opening some Grand Archive stuff soon.
Oh yeah, you know the devs.
Yes.
You got that
They're
inside
local
track.
custodians.
I paid for my shipment and haven't received it yet.
Yeah,
It's supposed
I
to
have
ship
the
out
shit yet today.
Supposed to ship out a month ago.
Fulfillment was it a month ago? I'm pretty sure it said February, March, spring to one area.
It said they should have received the product by January 20th in the Kickstarter.
Either way, it should be like this upcoming week. Depends on how fulfillment is, because they don't actually fulfill it themselves, you know? And it's also expected dates. And it says expected arrive at each region, not actually arriving at. Because like it says, expected January 21st to arrive at the region's port, and it'll take a week to get the items into the fulfillment company, and where the fulfillment company will then ship it out to you. It's kind of how logistics work. Yeah.
Okay, well, sounds like everybody said their thing, so I think we'll be signing out now. Thanks for everyone who stuck with us all the way, and thanks for everyone who came in the middle.